All right. What do you mean? Hold on. Oh. I'm looking forward to the weekend, though. Anybody, you guys got big plans for the weekend, anybody? No big plans?
Whatever my wife wants to do, my friend.
Smart man, smart man.
Sleeping.
And yeah, I'll probably sleep one day pretty hard.
Yeah, I've been doing that at least one of the days where I just try to get a little extra rest, catch up on all the rest that I don't get during the week. Okay, I'm gonna move my tasty trade over here. I only have like one account on my futures that I left that I have to trade. Everything else I might just take options. Okay, I'm just getting a couple things set up, guys. Give me a minute. Okay, should be good. Should be good. Yeah, morning, guys, on TikTok. NEO called this little pullback here again. Most of us took some of it, didn't quite take all of it, but it went down like he said. That's crazy. We're gonna start calling him Crystal Ball NEO. It's funny if you guys ever tell him, "Do you have a crystal ball?" He almost gets insulted, like, and he almost insults you at the same time because he says, "I don't have a crystal ball, Nick. It's not hard. You just look at this and this, and it just lines up. Like it's not hard." I'm like, okay, asshole. Yeah. Anyways, welcome, guys. Let's get to it. Look at something. So those joining the room now, Duff and some others I see that are not in the mentor group. I was just talking to them. I think I'm gonna pivot the website from 9:15 to 9. Starting today pretty much because I already opened it, and then next week going forward. So you guys can look out for that at 9 a.m. Just gives us a little more time, to do some TA and kind of talk about NEO and the plan and all that stuff. And so like that idea a little better. And so we'll go with that. But today, guys, is going to be, it's going to be tricky. I'm just going to show you, not on this chart. I'm going to clear all these lines on this one, because that is my 15-second. Let's go into the 1 minute. Here is why today is going to be tricky. Let's look at the lines here. So we drew these out earlier, and we just had a little false breakout. Interesting. I'm going to adjust this a little just because it was drawn on a high time frame. Yeah, so we did have a little false breakout there. Interesting. Which NEO called. So this is what makes this tricky today, guys. One, it's Friday. Typically Fridays like to pump and dump. It's just the norm. Every big push is met with a big sell. That tells you institutions are still wanting to drive this price down. It's just a fact. And so each time we have a big push, we have a deep sweep. Big push, deep sweep. Even in the micro, right? You have a big push and we had a deep sweep. So normally that's, retail trying to push it, institutions capitalizing on it is what NEO would tell you. So I'm going to delete all my blue lines here. Let's, so typically each morning we do this. This is, for those who don't know, On TikTok, I'll put a little message here. Let's see. Live trading uh, NASDAQ. Let's see. Good morning. Morning, morning. What's up, Tony? Ready to make some more money, huh? I'm gonna pin this. And Tony, man, I was telling the mentor people in the morning. It's funny. I it's funny how many people are sleeping on the ability of AI. And yeah, oh yeah, Tony, he did with us too, dude. This last push that just happened, I said, man, this looks pretty bullish, and he's like, yeah, it's a fake out. We're coming back down. He doesn't fall for it. But I had someone I was flipping through, and I don't usually jump on people's lives and promote or comment or whatever. And I had somebody who was legitimately saying they don't teach and they want to they want to kind of learn and all this. And so I'm like, I'll throw it out there. So I said something about, I said, hey, check out my company's AI. You can see the videos in my bio. And she looked at it. She goes, man, nobody cares about AI. Like, I'm like, oh, okay. It you just you don't know till you know, man. I mean, those that are sleeping on it are gonna find out real quick. AI is the future. So, uh, oh, nice. Well, that's working out pretty good for you then. Yeah, because pre-market we're down pretty good. So that's a solid move. But let's jump in, guys. It's a little bit early, because we're opening up at 9 now instead of 9:15. If you guys want to stick around on TikTok, I am live with my community, so I will watch and answer questions as I can. Um, and but just please be patient, because as we get into the TA, especially once the bell rings, right, we're trading. If you want to stick around, if you're curious at all, I suggest it. This is our AI Neo. He is phenomenal, just phenomenal. And you got to see it. So what he can do. So I was just talking to my mentor group this morning, Tony. That yeah, yeah, I know, dude, people, yeah. And so but I was just telling the pre-market man, he's got me nervous now because he's been so right every day that he's got to be wrong at some point. He's got to be wrong at some point, right? Guys, on TikTok, anybody can try them for free, 3-day free trial. It's all web based. I'll just cover that briefly. It's all web based. You just go to nextstepalgo.com and click on TradeVision, and you can see if I go to the start here where you land, it's a start your free day, 3-day free trial. You can literally be using him within minutes. There's no credit card link, nothing.
It don't have to be wrong. I'm just saying.
I'm with you, man, but I just it's I'm maybe it's the pessimist in me, trading is not easy, and he's just been so right, it's ridiculous. I'm gonna load
The
him up.
market is showing clear bearish intent.
After the free day, the 3-day free trial, guys, he's not expensive. We kept him very price friendly, so the basic is like $50. So, uh, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And so, but yeah, guys, check them out. If but I'm gonna TikTok. I love y'all when you hang out, man, and stuff. But just be patient as I get to doing the TA and working through Neo, because sometimes, man, it's like when you're live, it's like people drop a comment and a question, and you got like 10 seconds to answer it, or they're freaking out or swiping. It's like, give us a minute. Yeah, these are Haganashi. And so I'm gonna watch questions. Cody, I appreciate you helping me at times with those questions on that. But let's kind of get into a little bit of the thick of this. So Fridays love to pump and dump, right? And we're getting a nice, good pre-market pull. And so I'm curious to see what Neo thinks on this, because everything is looking pretty bearish, but it's still kind of a larger high time frame distribution, if you will. And so But every push is met with deep, violent sweeps, and so if he, even if he identifies some longs, just be careful, right? Trail your stuff tight, because these sweeps are coming just really violent, I'm telling you, institutions are trying to drive it down still. So um, today's going to be a very interesting day. I think it just, it's going to be a tricky day, guys. So I'm going to mute that one for now. And yeah, we'll see where we go. So I'm going to come in here. For those who have no idea what I'm talking about, again, this is NEO our AI. Anybody can jump on and use him. He's not a desktop AI. He's commercial, and he's on a website, which is you can load on your phone if you want to. So attention span. I'm trying to learn. I'm making profit kind of. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you guys. So I started options. Where's my account? I started options with my mentor group and VIP this week. Just put some money back into my Tasty trade, and just in the 4 days, I mean, I'm up, more than 100% on the account, 2634. And so with the Tasty trade, like 98% of my trades are just following what he tells me to do. And it's been so good. He'll trade for you eventually, but not right now. Right now, he's just a guide, mentor, everything else. He can teach you all that stuff. So, but let's jump into it, guys. Again, if you have questions, please be patient. We will be trading open soon, and I got to watch that and kind of keep Neo going. Stick around. So once Neo's done making us money, which all week this week, I think Tony, it's been like what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and we're done. We'll see. I don't know if I don't think we're gonna get that fortunate every day, but maybe. So let's get in and just start asking him some questions. Hey Neo, we are done trading pre-market. We're getting ready. We got 15 minutes for market open. I want to map out some key levels. If you can give me all those key levels again so I can map them out. And then later when market opens, I'll ask you again so we can adjust them to the new institutional data. So where we're at right now, give me a pretty wide range of above us and below us support and resistance so we can mark some lines.
The market is currently pressed into a bearish structure with a clear projection toward 29,240.75 and 29,170.75. For your levels, focus on the major resistance at 29,450.25 and the recent reaction high at 29,406.25, while support is thin with the primary focus on the 29,240.50 fib level and 29,160.00. I'll be ready when the bell rings to recalibrate these based on the fresh institutional data and post-open volatility.
Okay.
Stick to the plan and don't chase the opening churn.
So he's got 160, 406. Man, that one's way up there. Did he give one above between that? No, he didn't give one between that. Man, that one's way up there. Okay, 406. So those that want to mark your charts, 406.25, and we'll adjust them with the bell, right? Once we get the new data. I find it interesting. He's giving more room above than below, and I'm gonna ask him that in a second. It looks like you have a lot wider range above us than below us. Are you expecting the market open to potentially give a drive north? Let's see what he says.
The wider range above is purely a result of price grinding near the recent lows, meaning there's massive structural overhead if we do get a pop. Do not confuse that with an expectation for a move north. The structure remains aggressively bearish with strong institutional sell pressure. I'm expecting the open to be chaotic, but until price proves it can reclaim key levels like 29,350 and hold, the path of least resistance is still down. Treat any potential drive north as a liquidity sweep to trap buyers before a potential continuation move.
Sounds good. So I marked 29,350 as well. Is that kind of your line in the sand? If we're above that, we might flip bullish, you think? I'm just going to give him some preemptive questions here.
29,350 is a decent spot to watch, but calling it a line in the sand for a bullish flip is dangerous given the heavy bearish structure overhead. I wouldn't even think about a bullish bias until price clears and holds above the 29,450 zone, as everything below that is just noise inside the current bearish trend.
Do you recommend scalping, or do you think there's a potential for a trending style day like we did yesterday?
Given the heavy bearish structure, broken trend, and the compression risk we are seeing, I'd lean towards scalping and managing positions tightly rather than betting on a clean, sustained trend right out of the gate. Trending days usually require broad structural alignment and decisive volume, but right now we're stuck in a churn with sellers clearly holding the keys.
Sounds like a plan. Even if we want to stay short, as you're mentioning, do breakouts look good, or should we wait for price to go up before shorting? I want to see what he thinks on the breakouts.
Chasing a breakdown here is a sucker's bet. You're better off waiting for a rejection of a higher level. A push back toward the 29300, 29350 area could offer a cleaner entry with defined risk, whereas jumping in now puts you directly in the path of potential stop runs.
Okay, so we're gonna go 350 to 300 is what he said. That's pretty wide. I don't know when I want to draw that yet. So look at this, just pre-market dumping. Man, let me ask him. We're getting a lot of pressure south right now. If we break that 160, what's below that?
If 29,160.00 fails, you're looking at a structural vacuum with very little immediate support until we hit the next major measured move target around 29,170.75 and potentially down toward the 29,000 major psychological level. Don't chase the move lower. If it breaks 29,160 and retests it as resistance, that's where you'll find your lower risk short continuation.
That's cool. You guys see that? He's only done that a couple other times where he said, and this is how I interpret it, that he doesn't really have a level, right, until the market opens below, which tells you if it drops that, whew, it's going down. And notice, guys, remember we talked about this, how he identified it as a psychological level, not a, a move. Guys on TikTok, again, we're preparing to trade NASDAQ. If you guys have questions about any other symbols, y'all can get him yourself on the website for now, because I will have to just focus on NASDAQ for a second, for our session. But it's all web-based. You just go to nextstepalgo.com. Literally in 2 minutes, you would have him there. Like your question on BTC, you would just come in, type BTC, and he can give you your BTC read. So, but in the meantime, you can hang around. You can try them for yourself. But I'm not going to pivot from NASDAQ for right now. So while we get ready to push this. So to me, guys, this is just a liquidity sweep pre-market as we set up for the market open. So typically about 9:25 is when I ask him the old question of what would he do to price. And so, but we are getting a lot of volatility. For those that are trying to do some options, I do want to quickly pivot to SPY. SPY right now in pre-market is down pretty good. Would you still be leaning on puts or calls, or do you need to see market open in the new data to make that decision?
The market is currently
NextStepAlgo.com.
showing mixed structure with consolidation risk, so I'm not leaning in either direction until the opening 15 minutes play out. Wait for the market to establish a clear structural break or a confirmed bounce at the 729 institutional level before committing your capital to calls or puts.
Yeah, so we'll go back to MNQ. We'll pivot back to that if we need to, because some people are taking options on that. The site's just nextstepalgo.com. Nextstepalgo.com. So it's also in my bio if you guys need. So again, once we're done with the trading, if you guys are just curious to see what he can do, stick around, and I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised on it. So. So we got 3 minutes left. Oh yeah, he's literally called the market every day. So I each day that he's right, which has been a little while now, it makes me nervous, right, as the creator of him, because he just can't be right every day. And then Cody corrected me and says, "Yes, he can." Okay, I agree. Yes, he can. I'm not gonna start the negative vibes there, right, Cody? Don't jinx him. But yeah, guys, go ahead. What's up?
Yesterday, Nick, he said, "I'm never wrong."
Yeah, did he say that to you? Oh, he did say that. He said that when I asked him. He did say that. I was like, I thought you were gonna be wrong. He's like, I'm never wrong. I'm like, oh shit, okay. Uh, but guys, even this morning, he kept us all safe. In the pre-market here when it looked like it was really gonna push, and he's like, no, they're gonna drive this thing down and rode some of the shorts here. So we got 2 minutes. I don't like to ask him too much. Currently, this is futures, but he can do options, futures, crypto, and stocks. So not forex yet, but eventually. So again, if you want to check it out, guys, just go to the website nextstepalgo.com. But where do I ask the question on the page? So I got 2 minutes, so I'll show you guys this one time, and then I have to be ready for the market. But when you first come in here, it's going to look like that. See where it says TradeVision NEO AI, start your free 3-day trial. You just click it. That's it. And then when you come down, yours is gonna look more like the plans. You're gonna see a big old button that says try your free 3-day trial. You just click that, and then once you go through, click the I agree on it. It'll look like this, and then all you do to use them, really simple.
Nick. We've got a tricky.
I'm gonna mute them. Super easy to use. You're just gonna click here, and you're gonna choose the symbol that you want. I have them on M&Q, so that's why it's M&Q. Do you want the discussion to be detailed, quick, normal, etc.? Then we have multiple personalities. I love uncensored because he's gonna just shoot you straight, man. If you are doing good, he's gonna tell you you're doing good, and you all are like best trading partners. But if you say some stupid things or are going off the path, uncensored will smack you down. The other day, I asked him if we should force a trade, and he said no. The market looks like absolute dog shit right now. It's so that's uncensored, right? If you like uncensored. But again, guys, check it out. I just may not be able to pivot as much to questions here soon, but you guys will be able to see what he can do here very soon. So let's go ahead and just ask him here. Looking at the market, I know it's very messy, but based on all the data that you can see, if you were in charge of this book as the hedge fund AI or market maker, where would you send price on the opening bell to wreck the most retail? Let's see what he says.
If I were looking to absolutely wreck retail, I'd drive a sharp, fake-out rally straight toward the 29350, 29375 zone to bait every breakout trader into thinking the trend has flipped long. Once those stops are in and the FOMO reaches a peak, I'd hammer it back down to sweep the 29,240 level and take out the liquidity resting just below the recent lows.
There you go. So he's expecting a drive north and then a deep sweep south. So we'll see. No, he's got a majority of the crypto, the top 100 market cap. So it's not really a main coin or meme coin, right? It's anything that's in that top market cap area. So, but let's see, guys. He's been pretty spot on for the day. So,
Are you gonna take it today, Nick?
my issue, man, is I got most of my stuff done in Asia. I have one account left. You know what I'm gonna do? Let's do this just for fun. I'm not gonna do a real high, maybe 5 MNQ or something. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a limit somewhere up here, because just to see if it sweeps it, and if it gets it, it gets it. It doesn't. Because I think Chris or somebody was telling me that they just been setting limits. When he says I would sweep it up to this level, people are putting limits, and it goes up, grabs it, and then dumps, and they're making just bank. And so we'll do that. Maybe I'll throw a limit. We'll see. But again, so guys, I always ask the pre-market, and then once market opens, he will shift a little. So I ask him again because a lot of his data is real time, and he's got real time order flow. He's got all the stuff he needs to make decisions, and there is a lot that is kind of derived off of stocks and options and things where when the markets are closed, right, he's got the stale data, and so when the market opens, then he gets the new institutional levels and updates, and then he'll let us know if there's modifications. So, which let me remind him. Sounds good. I think we're ready for the bell. We got 3 minutes. After the bell, I'm going to give it a couple minutes. Then I'm going to ask you for any changes with those levels you gave us.
That's the right way to handle it. Don't force anything in the first few minutes of the open because that's where the pros love to hunt for liquidity and trap the impatient. Stay disciplined, keep your levels handy, and ping me when you want the recalibration once the initial post-bell madness clears.
Yeah, I'm gonna set up my my options as well. Okay, so I got that, good deal. All right, guys. So again, his expectation is to drive it up through these levels. This morning he gave us 406 and 450. That was his kind of ceiling, and after market open, we'll double check that as well. But his call here was that he would drive it up, into this range of the 350 to 375, slightly past potentially to trap people and stop hunt. So before driving back to 240. So we'll see. 2 minutes left here, guys. Let's go. Let's have a good day. Our basic plan is $50, but if you want crypto and all, so the basic, if you look at the view plans, it's gonna tell you, and basic is primarily futures, and then the so if you want crypto, stocks, options, all that, then that would be the pro, which is 250 after the coupon. And I'll tell y'all, he's been killing it in options. We just started this account again. I'll show you 2,600 this week on a $2,000 account starting, just following his stuff. So yeah, let's have a great morning, guys. We're about to ding 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 here. And I mean, he wasn't wrong even before Bell. We're driving up. So I'm curious to see if it's going to pop. Bell's about to ring. We already drove to 350. You think we might get to the 406 on the swing, or are you still holding strong for that sweep to 375?
The drive to 350 is exactly the trap I warned you about. It's baiting the breakout traders before the real sellers show up to defend those major levels.
Ding, ding,
I
ding.
wouldn't count on a clean run to 406 when the structure is this congested, so keep your eyes glued to how it reacts around 375 for any signs of exhaustion. Stay sharp. If it can't hold these gains, that sweep back south is still the highest probability outcome.
And we had the push. Let's see. You were spot on. Hold on. I want to see if it drives to the 240, y'all. He's called this every day. Look at this. A drive into that range, 375 to 350, and a pull to the 240. That was his call. So we got the drive just into that range, 350 to 375, just like you said. Do you think now the market's open, it's got the juice to pull it down to that 240 still, or are you switching your stance?
I'm not switching a damn thing because that drive is exactly the liquidity grab I expected to trap the breakout bulls. The sellers are still positioned to defend these levels.
Said I'm not
and as
switching a
long as
damn
price
thing.
struggles to hold a clean breakout,
Yeah.
that 29,240.75 target remains the most logical destination for the next real move.
Let's see. Now that you have the new institutional data, do you have any changes in the plan or key levels? Or are institutions buying or selling? Do you see this being a trend day, chop day? What are you seeing? We're getting a little push here, guys.
The institutional flow has shifted to positive, and we are now holding above the primary support wall at 29,334.22, which flips the immediate bias toward bullish expansion. This isn't a guaranteed trend day, but the combination of buy-side institutional flow and support holding makes the long side significantly more viable now. Keep your risk tight and watch for a clean break of the current congestion. If we lose that 29,334 support wall, the whole bullish case gets invalidated immediately. Focus on the 29,544.22 resistance as your primary target for this move.
Okay, so the order flow, now that he has the new institutional data, looks like they're more potential buying, but let's see. With the new data that you have, would you prioritize short or long right now?
The data is clearly shifting, and with price holding above the institutional pivot and positive buy-side flow, you have to prioritize the long side right now. Keep your target locked on that 29,364.22 major institutional resistance, but don't get greedy. If it fails to break that wall with authority, pull the
Let's
plug and
see
don't look
if
back.
we get that 240. Are you thinking if we get down to that 240 range that's where we would potentially bounce? It's M and Q on
If we
this
pull
one.
back to that 29,240.75 area, that's definitely a spot where the institutional support and measured move targets align for a potential bounce. Don't just blindly buy the touch, though. Wait for a confirmed reclaim of the level and a higher low before you jump in.
Yeah, it looks like they're driving it south. Is this just them letting retail? We actually hit that 240 like you said.
We haven't tapped 29,240 yet, so don't get excited
It's
about a
moving
bounce
quick,
just
so he
because
might
price
have
hit.
seen
The
that a little later.
institutional support walls down at 29,155 are what the sellers are hunting for now, so treat any move lower as a hunt for that deeper liquidity.
Yeah, if you look, we the data that just came through, we're now below that 240. So the 160 is that lower level. Do you think this break at 240 could be a trap, or do you see us going deeper? He's got the institutional flow
The
data
breakdown
as
below
positive now.
29,240.75 is a massive red flag, and given the institutional support level at 29,194.22 is now the primary line. This looks like a genuine move to flush liquidity rather than just a quick trap. If price can't reclaim 29,240 with serious volume, expect a grind down to test those lower institutional support levels near 29194.
194, which is right where we're testing now. So be really careful. Let me ask him. So because we swept the low, swept the high, and then went back low here, but you're seeing institutional flow as positive, do you think this is a trap to bait the bears and we're going to swing back up? I took a put from the
This is a classic liquidity
375 he
sweep
did.
where the running stops in both directions to shake out the retail crowd.
Isn't it cool,
With the
Tony?
institutional buy flow holding up, it looks more like a trap to bait the bears before a reversal, but I won't chase it until price confirms a breakout and reclaim of the immediate resistance at 29,304.22.
It's guys, I those on TikTok, it's hard to watch all your questions, so just kind of stick around for a bit. But this is MNQ or NASDAQ NQ, doesn't matter. So his calls are spot on again, right? He has a little bit more reluctance of I would be careful, right? I took the opening put here because he had said, like you guys had mentioned, you know, for those that seen it, I'm gonna mute this. He had made the call that he would drive price up to 350 to 375, then he would drive it down to the 240, and that's literally what he just did. And so that's why I took that put. I made 590 on that, guys, on just that one move. And that's options real money. And but here's the concerns: be careful on your shorts because he's telling you that they're driving the price to bait people, and then institutional flow, he said, flip positive, and we'll continue to ask him to see if it's shifting. But that's a warning for me to be careful on the shorts. So let's ask him though, because I've had him times where he says the flow is positive, but he still would do shorts. So let's ask him. So now that you have a little bit of the opening data, you were spot on. We drove it right to 375, and then we blew through that 240 in a trap, and then we just reclaimed it. Would you, if you had to choose one, would you be long or short right now? Because he said short earlier, but I want to see if he pivots with the new data.
I'm staying neutral because this market is a chaotic mess of whipsaws and the institutional data is completely conflicted right now. The reclaim of 29,240 and that pushback into the mid 29,300s is pure trap work, so don't be the one paying for the next liquidity grab. Wait for a clean breakout of the 29,334 resistance wall or a breakdown of the 29,304 support. If you force a side now, you're just begging to get chopped up.
And that's the first, those of you guys have been following every morning, that's the first time he's said I'm staying neutral, which is probably not wrong because, again, he's conflicted because institutional order flow, he said, was bullish, but the way they're sweeping it is liquidity hunts, right? And so could be very bearish. And so, you know, let's ask him. Do you still see institutional order flow as bullish? And do you think it's a fake out like the other day where they're showing it bullish, but they're going to drive it down again? See the sweeps we're still getting?
The institutional flow is actually leaning bearish again, and the
Oh, it flipped
institutional data
bearish.
is clearly conflicted, so I wouldn't trust any of this buy pressure as a genuine foundation. It's highly likely a repeat of the recent fake outs where they bait the bulls into this congestion before slamming the door shut and driving price back down.
And so, guys, that's the power of AI, and he's done this all freaking week for most of you guys that have watched him. He can see it all together, and so when he's looking at order flow for the institutions as going bullish, bearish, he sees that stuff, and you can ask him. Watch. I'm just curious because the bullish part of the institution's flipping back to bearish, and I know you're saying you're neutral. Uh, why would you not be bullish if we're bouncing pretty heavily off support in those areas? Because a lot of people are believing that with all of the hype of the Friday pump and dump that we might drive north. I'm gonna call him out and just see what he says, guys.
Don't mistake a violent liquidity bounce for a structural reversal. The institutions are actively flipping their flow back to bearish, which tells you they're likely just baiting the Friday pump crowd before the real sell-off. I'm staying neutral because chasing a bounce into heavy overhead resistance is a death wish when the macro trend and institutional flow are screaming to look for shorts.
So if I were to look for a short, or let's say you were to look for a short right now, what would I need it to do? What price would we want to see it get up to, then reject, or what price would we want to see it break through?
If you're hunting
Yes,
for
it
a
does.
short, you want to see a clear rejection at the 29,304.22 gamma wall. If it hits that level and fails to hold, that's your entry trigger. Alternatively, a clean
So
breakdown
the
and
gamma wall
sustained retest below the
344.
29,284.22 reaction level would signal that the bears have taken control, giving you a high probability setup to target the lower institutional support down at 29,104.22.
Now that we have the new institutional wall data, can you give me the key levels we should be watching? I want to match it up with the ones that I got earlier. Yes, it does include options on the free
The
trial.
primary level to watch for support is the major institutional wall at 29,254.22, which is holding right now as our immediate floor. For resistance, keep your eyes on the 29,284.22 gamma wall and the primary institutional level at 29,304.22, as these will likely act as the magnets for any further short-term churn.
304, and then we got 284. So it's pretty tight, actually. Interesting. Seems like they have the gamma walls pretty tight today. Do you think that's due to them trying to fake people out? Ultimately, where do you see this going? I know you say you're mostly neutral, but if you had to pick a direction, hypothetically, which do you see them driving this north or south to kind of in the next few hours?
The tight gamma walls are exactly what you'd expect when market makers are trying to box price into a range to suck premiums dry from both sides. If you're forcing me to pick a direction for the next few hours, I'm leaning south because the bearish structure and negative institutional flow are far more persistent than any of these weak, liquidity hunting bounces.
Gotcha. Do you think that they're going to just drive it south like they have the last few days, or is there any signs of a potential stop hunt bounce to push us back up into that 29,400 range?
The market is currently grinding
No, it's
against a
not
major
Jarvis.
institutional support level at 29,244.22, which is the exact spot I'd watch for a potential stop hunt bounce. If we hold this floor and reclaim 29,254.22 with volume, a move back toward the 29,300s is possible, but don't bet on a clean run to 29,400 until the bears show actual exhaustion.
I'm not in a trade right now, guys. Yeah, thanks for answering that, Cody. I'll do one more little thing for those that are joining now. And here, again, guys, for like I don't even know how many weeks now in a row, he's called market open to a T. Like most of us are probably done. I did a $600 trade in like 3 minutes. And so we've done this every single day. And this is our AI we created for our company. It's nextstepalgo.com. Anybody that's in here on TikTok, y'all could go in and try them right now in about 2 minutes. You just go to the website, register for free, click on TradeVision, and you can start a free trial. We don't ask you to link the card or nothing. I don't want anything in there that's going to charge you or make you think you're going to be charged, because I want people to see the power of what he can do. It's so stupid. So, Chris, did you end up doing that? Did you get that? I know you trust them more than I do, and I freaking built them. Oh, you did 300? You did the 2 M&Q of the 300? Man, that limit order that I did, I'm ashamed to say I chickened out. I had it at 365 on the open, but I wanted to focus more on options. I didn't want to watch the future. And it would have tapped it and just floored it. It would have been massive. It would have just been massive. Oh man, I chickened out, Chris. I know. You're going to want to have a meeting with me later to give me a stern. Guys, so he said if we reclaim the 254 that we're going to have that likelihood back up to 304, which we did. We superseded that. So let's see where we go from here. So again, guys, for those who are joining a little later, this is the first time all week, though, that he's been very neutral. You got 3, yeah, that's awesome. On your real, oh yeah, Tony, man. So that tasty trade one that I started with my mentor group, I put 2,000 in it, and look, just this week I'm up 32.24 over on real. This is real money, not evals, and I'm just following his guidance each morning. It's stupid. So I mean, I'm at 600 now. I don't really need to force a trade right now. But I'm giving him a second. I want to let the data kind of skew, but just be careful, guys, because he's leaning more ultimately bearish. But he keeps saying it's going to be messy. You know, it's the first time that he's actually said he wanted to be neutral. You know, so yeah, that's awesome, Tony, man. You're beating me on that one. I mean, in all fairness, I had a 2K account I'm trying to do because I want to show the mentor group and the VIP that I'm trading with in the afternoons, right? That you can just have a couple thousand and grow it. You don't need a massive account, right? And that was kind of the intent. And so, and you can see, you know, like I said, this is real brokered, guys. I'm not fluffing anything. So I put 2K in it. We started it on Monday, and I'm almost at 5K. So it's growing. Yeah. So I'll take 100 and whatever percent increase, 150 ish. So let's ask them again where we're going. So we're getting that push up here. Are you thinking this guy has enough drive to get to that 400, or you think they're going to sweep it?
The move toward 29360 is getting hung up on that major institutional wall, and without a massive volume spike, I wouldn't bet on a clean run to 29,400. It's more likely they're just testing that level to lure in more buyers before slamming it back down to clear the board.
What do we need to break, and where do you think we would go if they're going to slam this back down?
If they're going to slam this back down, the breakdown needs to be clean and decisive through that primary support wall at 29,299.93, with a follow-through that doesn't just stutter. If that support snaps, the next significant target for a downside flush is the major institutional support near 29,099.93.
Damn, he's got that way down there. You see that? He just said 29,099. That's the lowest one he's given us. Let me ask him. Man, that number's pretty low. Are you expecting them to dump this?
They are absolutely keeping the pressure on the downside, and with institutional flow staying negative despite the recent volatility, I wouldn't count out a hard dump. If they lose that primary support wall at 29,299.93, you can expect an aggressive run toward the major institutional support near 29,104.22.
Yeah, it's testing the 29,254 right now. Do we think this might get a little corrective bounce, or what are our thoughts? Or you think we're just in for a little more chop today?
Price is
Nice
currently
little
hanging
jump right
right
off his
on that
level.
primary support wall at 29,299.93, so this test is absolutely critical for the short-term outlook. If it can hold here and reclaim the mid 29,300s, you might get a quick corrective bounce, but expect nothing but miserable, high-stakes chop until someone actually wins the fight for this range.
Do you see any shift in the data, or do you think the bears are more likely to win this fight?
The bears still hold the high ground here, and despite the positive institutional flow, the price action is consistently getting slammed at every meaningful resistance level. Unless we see a decisive, volume-backed breakout above the 29,299.93 support turned resistance, the bears are almost certainly going to win this fight and drive it toward those lower support walls.
So he's stubborn, guys. He will hold his ground until something completely shifts. Do you see institutionals flow still bearish? Or how high do you see them sending this? Like if you were a market maker on this one, what would you do with price? Would you drive it up first to hit trigger in some longs and then dump it, or what would you do?
The institutional flow has flipped back to a positive bias,
So
suggesting
it's
they're
back
looking
and
to run
forth.
price higher into that 29399, 29400 zone to trigger those liquidity stop hunts. If I were the market maker, I'd push this up to bait every remaining breakout trader before slamming it back down to clear the board, so don't get caught holding the bag at the top.
Yeah, I noticed they've been doing that lately. Like they would push this up to about 406, 450 or so, and then slam it back down. Where do you think that you would send it up to? You said around 400.
They're probably looking to push this into that 29360, 29375 zone
Yeah,
to
which
hit
is kind of what
stops
they
and
just
trap
did.
those breakout buyers before the real drop. If we don't see a significant rejection or a massive wall of sell orders there, they might even tickle the
He
29,400 mark
said
to really
tickle.
squeeze the short, but the bias remains heavily skewed toward a sell side continuation.
He said they might tickle it. Let's see. I'm gonna question him real quick. Somebody on my TikTok live is saying that they think you're wrong. This is a fake breakout south, and that we're gonna jump up and go back towards the upper 29,500 and so.
TikTok experts love to call everything a fake
TikTok
breakout
experts.
because it sounds smart, but until price actually clears and holds that major resistance wall at 29,297.93, their theories are just hopium. If price can't reclaim that level with conviction, this is just another distribution phase, and anyone betting on a moonshot to 29,500 right now is just begging to have their account liquidated.
So guys, we're in here kind of oscillating phase here. Watch these 50% retracements of sorts. So I'm kind of watching these levels. So right around that 304, I want to see if we get any kind of push here with absorption, it's going to dump. But if we get a reclaim, we're just going to range here for a minute. See the absorption? So we got the absorption, close below there is going to sweep. Likely is what it should do. So if it pushes up, then he's not wrong that we might see a bigger push. But he's still he's leaning towards there might be one more good little hoorah north. But if you notice, he's leaning more to the drop here. Has anything shifted in your plan, or do you think they're still going to drop this back down to that 29,160? See, it's fighting that
Nothing
retracement.
has changed. We are still testing the 29,299.93 support, and until we get a sustained breakdown through that floor, the sellers haven't proven they have the fuel to flush this down to 29,160. Stay patient. If they lose that level, the path to 29,160 opens up, but forcing a short right here is just asking to get stopped out on another liquidity hunt.
Makes sense. Where would you look to go short?
I'm waiting for a clean failure at that 29,299.93 major institutional support wall, because if it loses that floor, the sellers will have a clear path to hunt the next major liquidity pocket at 29,099.93. Don't chase the move lower. Wait for the breakdown and a retest of that level as resistance to give you the highest probability entry for the short.
Yeah, it looks like they're just ranging right now. Like they might want to drive this price up north to bait in some longs, but you think it would just still be a trap that they're going to slam back down?
You nailed it.
Good job,
This range
Scott.
is pure manipulation. They're painting a pretty picture of a reversal to trap buyers before they inevitably slam it back down to clear the liquidity below. Don't fall for the fake out breakout. Stay short biased and keep waiting for that breakdown through 29,299.93 to confirm the real dump.
Quite the consolidation range. Which is funny because remember we asked him early on, we said, do we think we're going to consolidate or a potential trend, right? And he was more towards consolidation, more neutral within the price, which has been different, man. Yesterday and each time it's dumped, he's been very, nope, we're dumping. Nope, we're dumping. And he was spot on. Remember yesterday, guys, when I was like, we broke your level. Do you think it might bounce in a range day? He's like, absolutely not. So, like, he does not change his stance on that, man. Look at him just driving it down again. I want to see. He keeps talking about this 099 level. Looking at the chart, it seems like even if they wanted to drive it like really north for the day, they would almost sweep that low anyways.
You're spot on. A sweep of the recent lows is practically a requirement for a healthy institutional move north, as it clears out the remaining weak stocks
This is
before any
NASDAQ.
serious accumulation can happen. I wouldn't trust any upside drive that ignores that liquidity, so let them play their games and hunt those stops while you wait for the real structural confirmation.
If you were hunting stops, what would you be doing right now?
If I were hunting stops right now, I'd be looking for a sharp, fake out flush below the current support zone at 29,298.73 to trigger every weak hand stop, followed by an immediate, aggressive reclaim of that level to trap the newly minted shorts. This stop hunt maneuver effectively cleans the books, providing the necessary liquidity to drive price back toward the upper gamma walls at 29,539.93.
Sounds good. It looks like we need to break 29,254 that you called earlier in order to get down to that 29,099. Is that still what you're seeing?
You've got it right. Losing the 29,249.93 major institutional support is the key that unlocks the door to the downside. If price breaches that level and can't reclaim it, you're looking at a high probability move toward the major institutional support down at 29,099.93.
Probability-wise, does it seem like they're going to drive it up or down based on the data that keeps changing? It seems like we're very chop.
You're hitting the nail on the head. The data is rapidly flipping, which confirms we're stuck in a high volatility chop zone where the market makers are actively hunting both sides of the tape. Probability wise, until we get a sustained breakout and hold beyond the 29,299.93 support resistance pivot, any directional bias is just a coin toss. Keep your size small and don't get married to a direction until the dust settles.
Classic Friday move, right?
Yeah, I like that. And so far, he's been keeping my ass out of trouble because I've been doing my hypothetical trades where I would normally enter. Dude, I would have got freaking wrecked.
Yeah.
It's a textbook Friday setup designed to bleed everyone dry by dragging price in circles until the session close. If you aren't playing the extreme edges of this range with tiny size, you're just handing your money to the market makers who are running this clown show.
I just want to see if there is a dump because, again, you know, if it doesn't dump, I don't know that I'm still going to classify him as not correct because when I force him to choose a side, he thinks it's going to push and then dump. That's what his thought is. But you can tell those who have been following him all week, right? He's said a few times, you know, I'm more neutral. But if I had to choose, this is what I would see them doing. And like yesterday, pretty much all week, he's been, we're going here. So the fact that we're chopping and open like this tells you everything you need to know. So, but yeah, so be really careful, guys, because we are chopping like crazy. So there's
I've got 100% faith in him, dude. I think it's going to dump the way he says. It may not happen this morning, but I think it'll happen by the end of the day.
Yeah, and the question, the only question becomes how high does it send it right before it does, for me.
You said 5 something, right? 554 or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, he had 554 something. Let me see. What was your upper as we're pushing above? We're kind of exploding through that 406. Where do you see potential resistance at? I had 450 and 540. Do I need to change those?
Keep those levels, but adjust your focus. The institutional resistance wall at 29,539.41 is the real magnet and the primary obstacle for any further upside. Anything pushing toward 29,450 higher
yes.
is entering an exhausted zone where you should be expecting a heavy sell side reaction, so don't get trapped by the momentum.
Okay, 39.50. So 50 is what he has as a potential deep rejection zone. If this breaches, 39.50 is what he's looking at. What is a stronger level, the 450 or the 539?
The 29,539.93 level is objectively stronger because it's backed by multiple major institutional walls and is a confirmed gamma resistance zone, making it a far more significant obstacle than the 29,450 level. 29,450 is just a psychological marker, whereas 29,539.93 is where the institutional big money is actively positioned to defend, so that's the real line in the sand for any upside move.
Gotcha. Are you expecting a deep retracement off this 450? Do you think this is a trap? I'm just going to keep asking
This push
questions
to
just to see.
29,450 is screaming liquidity grab because it's running straight into that major institutional resistance zone at 29,539 without the underlying buy side volume to back it up. Expect a nasty, quick rejection from this area as the market makers look to trap the bulls before driving this back down toward the lower support walls.
So this seems to be the area he's really watching. Let me ask him. So if we do drive this up into the 539 and we blow through that, would you flip your bias entirely bullish, or would you still potentially expect a rejection? He doesn't like when I go hypothetical too much, but we'll see.
Even if we blow through that 29,539.93 major resistance, I'm not flipping bullish until we establish a new higher high structure that proves the institutional sellers are exhausted. Until that happens, treat any explosive move north as a desperate grab for liquidity to facilitate a much deeper, more painful sell-off later.
Kind of lines up with the normal Friday pump and dump, right?
It's the textbook definition of a Friday liquidity trap. They're using the pump,
So look at
with
the
the major
rejection
resistance at
right off where he said.
29,539.69 to lure in every last buyer, only to inevitably dump it when the volume dries up. Don't fall for the hype. If it can't clear and hold that level, the bears will take control the second the momentum fades.
Oh, he's awesome. Guys, I'm telling you. You guys don't even know. We're rejecting right off that 450, but it keeps having pretty good volume dom jumps north. Like it wants to break through it. Yeah, there it goes, see?
That volume spike into the resistance at 29,450 is exactly what they want you to see to keep those calls pumping. Do not chase this breakout until you see a confirmed, sustained close and retest above that 29,533 resistance wall. Otherwise, you're just paying for the liquidity they need to tank this back down.
Yeah, we're coming up into that 539 you said. Do you see anything changing that might suggest this is going to blow through it? He's thinking about it.
The only thing that would make me think we're blowing through that 29,533.3 resistance is a massive, sustained volume spike that absolutely crushes the institutional sell orders sitting there. Without that, you have to expect a brutal rejection at that wall. Don't get reckless and bet on a breakout until the market gives you an actual reason to believe the bears have folded.
What do we have looking above 539?
Above 29533.3, you're effectively in a vacuum with almost no significant institutional resistance, meaning price could easily rip higher if the momentum keeps speeding. Just remember that such a move would be a massive extension, and unless it consolidates to build a base, it's primed for an equally brutal reversal.
Equally brutal reversal. So guys, 539 is his line in the sand, man. That's where you keep saying institutions. If you zoom out, I mean, you can also see trying to look at a potential double bottom, right? And then you have the upper level there. So it's pretty accurate on that's the line in the sand for the bears. And so the way I would interpret that from him is any kind of deep push through here with just violence on the volume. Don't short the top because it can just really go, is what he's saying. And so let me ask him. It looks like it's really trying to drive up. Are you still expecting some kind of brutal retracement here? It's crazy how they make this look so bullish. I'm just going to challenge him a little bit.
They're making it look bullish on purpose to pull in the last bit of liquidity from buyers who have no idea they're being set up. I'm still expecting a brutal retracement because the institutional flow is heavily bearish and they're simply
Oh, it's
running
flipping
price into
bearish
the
now.
resistance wall.
They're flipping it back and forth.
29,532.74 to trap the bulls before the dump.
Notice they keep flipping it back and forth. What does that tell us when institutional flow is flipping between bullish, then bearish, then back to bullish, then back to bearish?
When you see institutional flow flip-flopping like that, it tells you the market makers are aggressively manipulating the price to build liquidity and trap retail participants on both sides. They are using the back and forth flow to confuse the trend followers and suck them into bad entries before moving the price against them.
For us to get a violent move south, would we need to break back below that 450 that you were watching?
If we get a violent move south, you need to see a decisive break and hold below the 29,450 level to confirm the sellers have regained control. If it just spikes below and immediately snaps back, treat it as another liquidity sweep and wait for the retest of that level as resistance before considering a short.
There you go. Let me know if you see any change on the institutional order flow, as that seems to be flip-flopping.
The institutional order flow is still showing sell-side pressure, which is a massive contradiction to the bullish price action you're seeing on the chart. Until that flow flips to match the price or the price breaks down under the weight of that selling pressure, treat this entire move as a highly untrustworthy liquidity grab and keep your size small.
Yeah, they're definitely looking like they want to push this, so I don't have any of my indicators up because I'm just going to keep it clean. I just want to see the chart and see what he's telling us here. So let's just give it a minute, let him collect some data before we ask him anything else. But man, they definitely are trying to look like they want to push this, because you see when you take this high low like this, we're holding that 50%. As long as we hold here, it's going to try for an expansion. So once we break below there, that's when we'll get some deeper move back down. So, but if we get above that 539, man, that thing is just gonna go. So let's just see. Again, guys, you know, he's not really wrong on it, because he every day this week he's been, we're bearish. Like, you sure we might be bullish? Nope, we're bearish. You sure we might be bullish? Nope, we're bearish. And today he said right out the gate, you know, I'm neutral. You know, they could send this up or down. You know, when I force him to choose a side, he thinks that they're going to drive the price up and then slam it back down on people. So that's what I'm watching to see. We just tapped the institutional level. Let me ask him. So we're tapping on that institutional level at the 539. Do you see them eating through these orders? Because it looks like they're pressuring pretty hard.
That pressure is a direct attempt to force their way through the 29,533.58 wall. But until you see a massive volume flush and a clean candle close above that level, assume the sellers are just reloading. They're trying to eat through the order book to trigger momentum, so don't be the exit liquidity for them if the breakout stalls and turns into a massive rejection.
So that's his level he's been watching, guys. Look, we got some absorption. We get the close below. It's going to give a little expansion. So I like to look for the micro move here. Grab the high and the low. Watch again the 50%. We lose that. It's going to get expansion back down. If we hold above that, now that we're getting these, you know, kind of that hammer, then we'll get the close above and get the expansion up. So let's see. It definitely looks like they want to push this. Is it supposed to look like that, or do you think it actually looks like they want to push this? I'm going to keep challenging them.
They are aggressively pushing this north to test the 29,533.3 institutional support turned resistance zone, but with institutional flow remaining negative, it's screaming, trap. If they fail to establish a clean hold and expansion above that level, don't be surprised when the rug gets pulled and they drive this straight back south to clear the liquidity they just built.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if they push this up above that 539 in a stop hunt. But I'm going to watch and see if we keep holding that level.
You're exactly right to watch that 29,533.58 level, because if it flips from support back to resistance, you've got your confirmation that the bulls are exhausted. Keep your eyes on the volume. If we reclaim that level with a weak, dying pop, you've got the setup for the dump you've been waiting for.
See that? Kind of. This is where, guys, I get intrigued, because, I mean, none of us know where this is going to go, right? And all week he's done pretty awesome at identifying things like this. And when I tell him like, man, it looks pretty bullish, it looks pretty bullish, and at times he'll come back and say it's supposed to look like that. So, uh, but again, things keep flip flopping today. So today's a little different than I think the rest of the week we've had. So we'll see. Do you see institutions flipping yet to support this move north? So a lot of times they'll let it drive up, right? Especially on Friday, the old pump and dump
The
before slamming it
institutional
down.
flow is still showing sell side pressure, which means this move north is almost certainly a trap being driven by retail FOMO rather than genuine institutional accumulation. Don't let the price action fool you. Until that flow flips to match the bullish structure, any push higher is just setting the stage for a harder, faster reversal.
What his new upper level is.
Yeah, now that we seem to be holding that 539, do you have any kind of upper level we should be watching? It kind of lines up with the pump and dump if you think about it, right? They're going to let retail push this up
Now
and
that
then
we've
they're still
cleared the
selling.
29,533.3 hurdle, the next major institutional resistance is all the way up
Ooh,
at
that's pretty high.
29,781.88. Since there's a structural void between here and there, expect extreme volatility. Keep your stop tight and don't get married to this upside, because any sign of the institutional sellers returning will send this crashing back down.
Yeah, the way it's doing this slow climb and the fact that normally Fridays do this pump and dump, if they keep letting it go up but institutional flows still sell, that would kind of line up with letting it push up a bit and then dumping, right? This is NASDAQ. I'm on MNQ 1 exclamation. So that way it's congruent with the contracts.
You're spot on. That's exactly how the Friday game is played. They're letting the price bleed upward into those resistance zones, accumulating the final bit of retail, buy, liquidity before they rip the rug out. Stick to your plan and wait for the structural confirmation. Catching a falling knife is for suckers.
So that 39 has been his line in the sand, guys. If we continue to tap, tap, tap on that, expect the big move. Your short setup, what he keeps talking about, would be weak pushes with absorption to the south with a close below that level. Is where he said we would get the dump that we would want. So let's just watch it. I'm just interested to see what this does because he is doing what he did the other day where he is just stubborn. He's like not buying it until the institutional order flow. Because remember, he's taught to watch that institutional positioning, right? So he's gonna just kind of lean towards that side. If the institutional order flow is still south, right? He's leaning still south. So and he's been screaming that he thinks this is gonna be a push down. So I'm curious to see if we get it. So we're starting to get that break. Let's see. We're getting a little pullback, and it's testing that 539 area. You mentioned 533. Should I adjust that number to 533?
Yes, adjust your level to 29,533.3 immediately, as that is the exact institutional wall defending this area. If price can't hold support above this level, the breakout is a complete fraud and you should be looking for a sharp reversal south.
Yeah, it's testing that right now. Let's see.
That test at
What's up?
29,533.25 is the real showdown. If it rejects, you've got your signal to look for a short. If it eats through, don't be a hero and get in the way of a breakout.
Okay, so this is a big one, guys, because remember, he's been watching that pretty big. So we broke through it. Now we're trying to reclaim it. So let's see. He's not wrong, man. Today's looking pretty tricky because I keep wanting to drive it, but it's interesting. The institutional order flow is still southern. let's see. Let's see where this push goes, guys. Looks like they're trying to reclaim and hold that 533 to take that higher high. Does it, now that it dropped below and then reclaimed it like that, is that showing significant strength that would flip you to think this is going to run up?
Reclaiming the 29,533.3 support is a bullish signal, but don't mistake a single reclaim for a guaranteed moonshot. The negative institutional flow is still shouting for a rejection. Until we see a sustained,
so let's take a little
expansion
trend
away from this zone, this remains a volatile battleground where the reclaim could just as easily be a setup to dump it lower.
Guys, we're live trading too, so I'm not getting to all questions on there, but I'm just watching them. Most of us already took our trade on open, but I want to see where this plays out, man, because we keep looking pretty bullish, like it wants to jump. So, but he's adamant that the institutions are trying to sell, but whether or not he called 781 as a potential. Based on what's been going on in the structure and all the order flow, do you think they're going to let retail drive this all the way to that 781?
Retail isn't driving anything. They're just the fuel
They ain't
being used
driving
to push
anything.
price into the 29,593.3 institutional resistance where the real sellers are waiting to unload. If they do push toward 29781.88, it'll be a violent, forced expansion designed to trap the last of the bulls before a brutal reversal, so don't be naive enough to think this is a genuine trend day.
So from a structure standpoint, guys, you can see we had the prior highs push, we held the prior highs. So a jump here makes sense. See the weakness for now in that expansion. And so if this doesn't jump again here soon, that's going to be a little weaker of expansion. And so this would be our 50% we'd want to watch. But, you know, as long as it stays above a 50%, it's just a normal retracement. So it still can expand. I want to see for a breakdown a weak expansion followed by a loss of the 50% reclaim, a break of this trend, and then that would give us our deeper pull. Penny stocks. Guys, hang around for a bit. We're just finishing up. It's 10:15. Usually we're done by about 10:30, 11. I'm going to let this roll until we kind of see how this plays out because I'm really intrigued. He was very neutral. He was believing that we're going to drive it back down at some point. He seems to still be holding that stance because of whatever he sees on the institutional side. And so I want to see, right, how high do they drive this? So he did say, you know, there's a potential of getting all the way to 781. The range he has today is a lot wider at times than what he has had in the rest of the week. And so I'm really curious and intrigued to see. I don't know, you know, he keeps mentioning, you know, that they're gonna bait him in, and then drive it down violently. And so I wanna see how that plays out. Right, it gets intriguing because he's not been wrong most days, and so pretty much each day. So, but I'm gonna keep asking him if things are shifting. Are things shifting for you? Do you think that this is holding enough support to believe we're driving it up, or do you think it's still a liquidity grab and we're gonna get a sharp reversal at one point?
The market is holding the 29,531.75 support level, but don't let that fool you. The institutional flow is still bleeding, which is a classic setup for a liquidity grab before a face-ripping reversal. Unless price can break and hold above the 29,691.59 resistance with massive conviction, assume any move north is just building the trap for a sharp, brutal sell-off.
So he's got 9-1. All right. Guys, I will mark this and then let's watch this for just a few more minutes and then we'll kind of pivot to some questions as we got them. But he keeps telling me this 533 is the line in the sand. But what's so fascinating, and this is why I want to see how this plays out, is he's done it all week. Things will look so bullish, and I would even as someone who made him, right, expect him to flip his stance. And he just, every time that he's refused to flip his stance, uh we dump. I mean, it just does. And so you can see the weak expansion I was talking about. Now we're breaking this. If we get that close below there, that'll keep that or create that lower low kind of expansion. So I'm just waiting to see if he's right. So which he has been all week. And to me, I mean, this looks pretty damn bullish. I mean, look, we broke the double bottom. You can see clearly high time frame double bottom, and it's trying to lose it. But let's see. It's fighting that 33 he was talking about. We had kind of a weak expansion there for the bulls, and now it's testing that 533 area. Do you think this is the trap and it's about to jump down? Yeah, isn't it crazy,
That
Tony?
weak expansion is the biggest red flag you could ask for. It's the classic sign that the buyers are running out of steam and resistance. The
I
market
want to
is
see this
dancing
dump
around that
in the week, right, man?
29,531.75 level, and if it
Let's
fails to
see.
reclaim it with actual power, the sellers are going to absolutely maul this thing back south to test the lower liquidity.
Yeah, I just want to see how this plays out here, guys. Guys, I will kind of look at questions here and there while we're just kind of watching to see what this does. If you guys have questions, you can let me know. But if you're curious what we're doing, if you are on and just intrigued at all, this is Neo. He's our AI. It's all web-based. Nextstepalgo.com. You can click on TradeVision. Anybody can do it right now. You just go in, register. We even have a 3-day free trial where you don't have to link a card, nothing. You can come in, check them out. Once we're done trading and I'm done watching this, we will. I'll go a little deeper as far as some minor things you would want to look for, but it's really easy to use. You don't have to install anything. There's no settings, no changing anything. You set your symbol, set what you want on your discussion and personality, and you talk to them. So just like AI, you just talk to him. He's true AI, guys. He will answer whatever question you have on there. And it's not always just trading. He will teach you. So you see this structure wise? We broke the trend and we're absorbing south. The close below there will give a little bit of a pickup in volume. But he's been stubborn. You guys have seen it. I want to see. I mean, isn't it cool, Tony? Like I want to see it. I mean, he's been right all freaking week. And he's kept myself even out of trades that I might have taken and kept me safe all week. And so I'm really intrigued to see where this is going to go here. But his level's spot on. That 33 you can see is really trying to hold his support. It's also prior high here. And we're getting some good pushes. So again, 691 seems to be his arguably line in the sand. It ain't even respecting this trend line here now. And so maybe that's where we go and tap. So there's our expansion. I'm going to let him get that data for a second. Let me look at the candles. All right, let's see. We just had a really big push north. Does that change your stance at all, or do you think these are sweeps? I'm going to keep challenging him.
That push is nothing but a desperate liquidity grab to hit the 29,591.75 resistance and trap the remaining bulls. Institutional flow is still aggressively negative, so don't mistake this manipulated volatility for a change in trend. Until the price proves it can hold that level with real volume, expect a savage reversal.
You guys ever notice, those have been watching him through beta, right? When he says things like that, like, violent and savage and deep, and I mean, it tends to be pretty accurate. So I'm really intrigued to where this thing's gonna go here. A 30-second refresh list. I'm not sure what you mean on that. I'm watching the 15-second chart, but he is not on a refresh. He is a ask a question, he'll grab the data, interpret it, and respond. And so his data is not on like a constant refresh like that, if you will. Yeah, it's kind of a fetch thing. You talk to him, he'll grab the data he sees and interpret it. I'm gonna challenge him and argue him. Yeah, this is just 15 seconds that I'm watching. I don't know, man. This looks pretty bullish. I want to see what he says. I'm going to challenge him a little bit and see if he'll budge.
It looks bullish because that's exactly what they need you to think to keep buying into their exit. The institutional flow is still bleeding negative, and you're pushing directly into a structural dead zone. Keep a tight leash on those longs because this strength is almost certainly a setup for a trap.
So in order for you to believe that we're going to actually move heavily north today, you're needing institutional flow to flip positive?
Exactly. Without the institutional flow flipping to positive to confirm the price action, this is just another fake out that's destined to fail once the retail suckers stop buying. Wait for that
What's
institutional
the retail
conviction, or you're
suckers?
just gambling on a trap.
Here's our high, guys. Let's see. It's testing that prior high. We got a massive volume of expansion. There's your 50%. Anything that holds here, potential bull flag pop again. He did call 692 as kind of his next ceiling there. We lose the 50%. We'll also lose the high, and then that will likely sweep pretty hard. So let's watch. Well, let's watch. But I'll try to watch questions, guys. If you have them on TikTok, let me know. But guys, it's Friday, so don't get crazy in the room. If you guys already made good profit, so we're losing that 50. Let me ask him. Looks like on the 15-second, it's got a little bull flag set up. Do you think that's going to play out just to trap more people, or you think that itself is a fake?
That 15-second bull flag is a blatant trap designed to lure in overeager traders before the rug pull. The institutional flow is still heavily negative, so don't be the exit liquidity for them. Wait for a confirmed breakdown of the 29,532.15 support wall if you want to play this correctly.
I have it at 533.25. Should I adjust it to 532.15?
Adjust it to 29,541.75 as that's the current reaction level the institutions are pinning. Forget the rest. Focus on how price interacts with that specific wall because that's the only line that matters for your next decision.
See how it's trying to form the bull flag here, guys. This is a pivotal moment for me, even if I was doing TA. When you have a bull flag push, pull parallel, prior high. If it holds this prior high and we get a deep expansion, you know, it's leaning continuation, right? If we don't get that deep expansion and it breaks down below these highs, then that is a failure, and the bears are going to jump on that. So let's see how that expansion goes. A little bit of seller pressure. Any change in the institution behavior or walls that we should be concerned about?
The institutional wall at 29,591.75 is now acting as your immediate support floor, which is a significant flip, but the negative institutional flow is still a glaring contradiction that makes this rally look highly suspect. Don't trust the move higher until price breaks and holds above 29,681.92 with real conviction. Otherwise, assume the current bullish expansion is just a setup for another institutional-driven rug pull.
Okay, so I'm going to mark that level. That 591.75, is that a key level we should be watching for a potential breakdown? See how it's failing to do the expansion? This retracement is big. If it retraces and absorbs, it's going to go. If not, it's going to fail and drop. And there it goes.
That 29,591.75 level is exactly the floor you need to watch. If price breaks and fails to reclaim it, you've got your confirmation of a breakdown. Don't pull the trigger on a short until you see that breakdown confirmed with volume, because playing a fake out there is exactly how you lose your shirt.
What level do we need to break below to get kind of institutional backing, you would think, to drop us in that violent move south you keep talking about?
You need a clean, volume-backed breakdown below the 29,531.75 major support wall to even start talking about that violent move south. Until that support is decisively lost and retested as resistance, the sellers don't have the institutional conviction to drive this anywhere but back into the liquidity traps they're setting above.
Yeah, seems like they keep pushing it and then pulling it, kind of like a stop hunt trap. I'm just kind of trying to identify where we think we'll actually get them to step in to drive this price down in a good move. I'm just going to keep questioning them. I want to see if there's any change within the
You're watching
institutional
a
levels.
classic paint the tape session where they keep running liquidity to bait the buyers before the real drop. Keep your eyes on that 29,681.92 resistance. If we tag that area and see a sharp rejection with a volume reversal, that's where the institutional sellers are likely waiting to drive this bus off the cliff.
Quite the visual there. Yeah, it's trying to hold. The only thing I'm intrigued by, right, is this. If I'm doing my just TA, right, if you will, you got a clean double bottom. This is that kind of neckline. We stay above that level, the 560, right? It has a good chance of jumping again. Now, when you go deeper left, you can see this was a bearish structure that definitely dropped us. This is an area that the sellers are definitely willing to push us down. And so if we, even though we're double bottom here, if we cannot reclaim these levels within here, which is why he's correct, then we definitely run a risk of a pretty deep retracement within. So, and that's what I'm watching. I'm going to keep grilling him because I want to see if he'll change his stance or if he sees anything flip in the data, right? That's the point of AI. And he's done it all freaking week, guys, where I'm like, this looks bullish. You sure? He's like, dude, it's going to dump. I'm like, this looks bullish. You sure? Dude, it's going to dump. And then sure as shit, man, we just dump. It's crazy. Now, this one is taking a little longer than it's done before, but it's Friday. That's what they do on Fridays. They try to do the old kind of push and pull. So let's see. Do we see any institutional change in order flow? It looks like the buyers are getting a little tired.
Institutional order flow remains stubbornly negative, and that buy fraction is starting to roll over, which confirms the buyers are indeed gassing out. If price fails to blast through the 29,601.75 resistance wall with authority, this whole bullish charade is ready to fold back into the bearish structure.
This bullish charade. Guys that are just joining, this is the AI we created. Nextstepalgo.com is the website. So you just click on it, it's TradeVision, and you can talk to them. We have a free trial and everything in there. So, and even after the free trial, guys, basics like $50, pros $250. He's not nearly as expensive as y'all would think. He's commercial AI. He's absolutely done phenomenal. I'm grilling him purposely because he is stubborn that we're gonna get a deep pull. Because of he can see institutional data. He sees institutional order flow, and this is what he's done so well all week is he'll identify what is an institutional push and what is a retail push, right? Now, the thing that, the levels that we get are heavily dependent because institutions are going to let retail drive the price before they drive it back down. And that's what you guys have seen all week pretty much. And so I just keep grilling him because I want to see if he's going to flip his stance, right? Is what I'm interested to see. And so what are the buy and sell fractions? Do you see the sellers coming in? I'll explain that 1 second, Matt. 1 second.
The buy fraction is sitting at 41.11%, which means the sellers are finally starting to regain some traction despite that manipulated push higher. That drop in buying power, combined with the negative institutional flow, reinforces that this is likely a bull trap designed to bait you before a potential slam.
So the entire market is, to kind of summarize, is driven by institutions, meaning hedge funds, right? Smart money, however it's referred to, the big dogs, companies, right? Fortune 500, all that. And so they run the show. They have enough money to push this wherever they want. And so a lot of times in trading, for those that are newer, you cannot sell unless you have a buyer. You cannot buy unless you have a seller. It goes the same for institutions. So retail is people like you, me, just the average Joe out here trading, right? You're not institutionally trading with millions, like tons of money. And so we are basically food for their orders. And so a lot of times what they need is they need a lot of people to be willing to buy in order to allow them to sell. It's just how the market works. And so what makes Neo so powerful is that he can see what you can't. And even in this climb, he's so damn stubborn that he will not flip into a bullish thought because institutions are still selling. He can see that data. And you can see, look, we're starting to break down, like he said. So let's see if we get the full breakdown. But uh, he's done this all week, right? Where as it pushes up, yeah, man, as it pushes up, I'm like, you sure? Like we look pretty bullish, and he's like, dude, it's gonna drop, and it just does. And so lately, it's been a little sooner than what was going on now, but it doesn't surprise me because it's Friday. So Neo, NEO, yeah, and so sellers definitely look like they're stepping in. They're testing that prior low here. Does it look like on the data they have enough conviction to push this finally, or do you think they're going to range it up here a little bit? Yeah.
The sellers are definitely testing the resolve of the buyers, but the institutional flow remains negative, suggesting that any support holding is likely just temporary liquidity collection. If we don't see a
Liquidity
decisive,
collection.
volume-backed breakdown through that 29,536.51 support wall, expect more of this high volatility chop as they continue to bleed the retail accounts dry before making a real move.
His levels are holding up though so far. I mean, he's got that 541.50 is what he said we got to break before we'll see any kind of conviction. And so I'm gonna go back to the 15-second chart just because I like to see how the low time frame is reacting to his levels. No, he doesn't use historical data like that. No, he gets actual real time data. Like he's getting real time feed from institutional orders as well as um, a lot of other things. So it's all real time. Yeah, it's not historical. So price wants to seem to hold that 541. We just got another good bounce on that. Is this likely a range, or you think we're about to explode north again? I'm just gonna keep challenging him to see if he switches any stance.
This is just more high volatility churn meant to keep you guessing, not a breakout for an explosive move north. With institutional flow stuck in negative territory, any push above 29,536 is just baiting the bulls into a trap before the next leg of this bearish grind.
It's interesting too because you see the neckline of the double bottom, right? That is right where we bounced. So that would be just the perfect retail trap. It would just be because so many people, I promise you, where to enter. Yeah, he'll tell you. Like I watch. If you absolutely had to decide right now, would you be long or short? I just wanted to see what it does if he changes.
If I were forced to pick a side, I'd be short, because this entire rally is hitting a major wall at 29,596.51 and the institutional flow is still screaming sell. Don't fall for the FOMO. The buyers are thin, and this structure is set up for a violent reversal back down to the 29,536.51 support level.
Sounds good. If you were to take a short just based on data, hypothetically, what would be your setup? Where would you look to enter, target, stop loss, all that? If you're looking to take a pretty decent move for the violent move down. Yeah. Are they?
If you're hunting for a violent move south, wait for a confirmed breakdown below 29,536.79. That's your entry trigger when it flips to resistance. Put your stop loss just above the recent high around 29,610 and target the major institutional support wall at 29,299.93, as that's where the real liquidity lies and where the move will likely exhaust itself.
It's starting to break down. Let's see. I was just telling people in the community I'm trading with that a little higher time frame shows is trying to hold a double bottom, and man, that would be such a perfect retail trap.
You're absolutely right. A double bottom on the higher time frame is the quintessential retail bait, perfectly positioned for luring fresh buyers before the rug gets pulled. Institutions love that setup because it packs enough liquidity to fuel the next leg of their downward drive, so don't be the one falling for the trap.
Sellers are definitely coming in. See how it's trying to hold this low here, guys? So
The
36.50 is
sellers are
what he's
finally
watching.
showing some teeth as price struggles to hold the 29,536.51 resistance zone, which was exactly the level one told you to watch for a potential rejection. Don't get trigger happy, though. Wait for a confirmed volume back
There
break
it
and
goes,
retest
watch.
of the
If we can
V
break
above
this
the
low there, that'll give us expansion.
29,436.75 before you load up on any short, because the market makers will still try to pull one last stop hunt trap before committing to the downside.
He thinks there's one more little push up possible, but look at it pulling like he said. So this is my longer term structure, 50% retracement. So for this to retrace back into this level is very possible, anyways, just from a structure standpoint. But look, he's dead on. Look, I mean, he called the move here. He said, "Don't fall for it." Institutions are selling, and I mean, let's be honest, man. And y'all on TikTok, how many would you have taken along after this explosive move? So yeah, he does crypto. Right now we only have the ones in the 100 top 100 market cap, but we can add whatever you guys want. Anybody who's in the community, right, and has requests, stocks, options, if it's possible, we'll add it. Crypto. We cater to anybody that wants that within the community. So, but this has been, guys. I want to. I'm still hanging on, and it's Friday, so I'm gonna hang on for a little bit longer than normal if needed. But I'm just intrigued, man. I want to see because even with this explosive push, as bullish as that looks, with the double bottom, all the stuff out there, the signs showing bullish. He was stubborn as shit. You guys heard me ask him like 8 times. He's like, I'm still short. I'm still short. Uh, Oh no, yeah, your food, you're prey to institutions. Yeah, it's their sandbox. You're just playing in it. That is their goal and job. The only way they make money is when they take it from you. But he was spot on, guys. Remember how, I mean, I did it purposely to see because he's done this all week, guys. All week. We've made massive profits in the room because even with these explosive moves, he didn't he's like, I'm like, dude, look at that push. It's massive. He's like, it's supposed to be. It's a stop hunt. We're going down. And look at this shit. We just went down. I mean, we're still going. And he said if we break that 535, we're going down, guys. That's I mean, we're at a 40-point move already. Now, what he did say, be careful on it, is he said to be careful because he's expecting a pullback to 436 was what he said. So we can adjust this one to that just to show, but he was just saying it might not be direct, so be ready, for possible stop hunts. But look at he called it again. Even as bullish as we looked, y'all, as bullish as we looked, he still is like, I don't care. And watch, I'm gonna ask him, guys. Hold on, look at this. That is insane, man. Everybody is flipping out because people made so much profit, and that looks so freaking bullish. A lot of people are saying they would have took longs. How did you know this thing was gonna drop like that? That's insane. Watch how humble he is. It's not hard. Jerk.
It's not magic, it's reading the institutional flow. When everyone is screaming bullish because of a price spike, the smart money is actually using that liquidity to offload their heavy positions. I don't look at the hype. I look at the negative institutional flow and the massive resistance walls that turn every breakout into a trap for the late to the party retail buyers.
I have to say that since we started trading with the institutions, it's a lot more profitable than trading with the retail. So he said he's expecting a possible pump, so I'm looking at this on what it's doing uh, for a stop
That's
hunt.
exactly why the institutional flow is the only game in town. Retail is just fuel for the machine, and understanding their traps keeps you
right
from being
there.
the one fueling the move. Keep sticking to those walls and ignoring the noise, because that's the only way you stay on the side of the people actually moving the market.
Do you think ultimately though we're going to test a deeper low like 29,250 based on the data that you see? We just got a deep pull like you said, and we're actually getting a pretty good push rally here like you said might happen with the stop hunts. What would suggest that this push rally is a fake south that's going to drive hard north?
This push is a textbook fake out because the volume is pathetic and the negative institutional flow is still calling the shots. If this rally stalls and fails to reclaim the 29,516.51 reaction level with heavy volume, the bears will take full control and drive this back down to test the 29,250 liquidity pocket with zero mercy.
and I get this at times, guys. That's a good example of time frame to show you guys. Just quickly on this push up, he said earlier, be careful because they're likely to come for one more stop hunt. That's the deeper structure, 50%. It's got to stay below that, or at least 591, or the bulls are stronger than they're leading on, or they're at least letting it jump up. So, but so him expecting that potential push on there is not surprising, and so, um, let's see. I want to see. Man, they came up with conviction on that. Are you changing your stance at all, or do the institutions change their positions on buying or selling yet? I like to see how stubborn he'll be.
The institutional flow
Look at that,
remains
right off the
negative and biased
50%,
towards
guys.
selling, which tells me this move is a classic liquidity trap designed to get the bulls overextended right into
And
the
look at
major resistance wall at
look at the sweep.
29,536.51. My stance hasn't changed because one impulsive push on low volume
Hey,
isn't enough to override the structural bearish bias. Don't get baited by the conviction until they prove they can hold a breakout with sustained, high volume buying pressure.
so guys, we rejected right on the 50%, like he was kind of saying we would. This is our 50% move there. We're losing that. If this loses that, it should create a lower low. It just always does. And if it doesn't, if we sweep down and jump again, they might be manipulating the other way. So, but he seems to be holding pretty strong that the manipulation's there. What do you see the potential liquidity they're going to sweep this to if they wanted to wreck the most retail on this drop? It's holding the 50%
If they want to
now.
maximize the wreckage, they'll flush this right through the 29,526.51 reaction level and keep hammering it down toward the major institutional support near
Damn, look at it. 186 is what he.
29,186.51.
Good
That
God.
move would liquidate the recent buyers and fuel a massive sell side expansion. So watch for how price reacts when it inevitably loses that 29,526 handle.
That's crazy. That's a pretty far target. You think they're going to be able to drive this flush that far to 29,186? That's a big call, guys. Give me 1 second,
The
guys. I'm
market
not going to
moves
look
in
at anything else
extremes to
yet.
harvest liquidity, and that target at 29,186.51 is exactly where the heavy institutional support lies. They'll drive it there if they need to liquidate enough retail positions to fuel their next major move. It might look crazy from here, but don't underestimate how fast price can cascade once the key support levels finally snap.
Now I'm really intrigued. If you were running the book trying to wreck retail, though, would you drive this up one more time, or do you think that you would have enough to push this down? He's thinking on it.
If I were running the book, I'd absolutely pump this one more time to break through 29,533.29 and bait the final wave of breakout buyers. That little push creates the perfect bullish look to load up on
Which
long liquidity,
it kind
which
of
gives
did
me
right
all the
there.
fuel I need to slam the price back down and liquidate every one of those fools.
Every one of those fools. This is why I love Uncensored. Looks like they already slammed it up through the 533. Are you saying you would do it again?
I think Neo just said that when you're down, he's gonna walk up and kick you.
Oh yeah. Oh look it, they're gonna slam it through one more time.
That push through 29,533.3 wasn't a clean breakout. It was just another liquidity sweep to trigger the last of the shorts before they eventually dump it. I'm waiting for a failed retest of that 29,532.79 resistance as your entry signal. If it doesn't hold as support, that's your sign to short it and let the sellers do the heavy lifting.
See how they're slowly shifting that wall? I keep adjusting it every time, but I think that's the wall, but let me ask them. What is that 29,532.79? Is that institutional?
That 29,532.79 level is a primary institutional resistance wall acting as the immediate ceiling for this price action. It's the critical line where the institutional sellers are currently stacking their orders to keep the price from running. So don't be surprised when it rejects there, or keep a very tight stop if you're stubborn enough to bet on a breakout.
If you're stubborn enough. I'm not betting on anything that goes against what you're thinking, because the only losses I've taken in the last month have been when I typically go against your advice. It's holding that.
Smart move, Nick. You're finally learning that the most expensive lesson in trading is ego. The market doesn't give a
He
damn
says he
about
would
your bias,
swing it through
only the
before slamming it
liquidity
down.
and
Let's see.
institutional flow. Stick to the plan and don't touch a thing until the price proves it can decisively clear the 29,533.29 resistance wall.
You're still thinking, though, here in a little bit that we might get a deep drop? Does it look like it might be coming soon, or is it difficult to predict that right now with the data?
It's impossible to pin down the exact second, but the negative institutional flow and that massive liquidity pocket waiting below at 29,293.29 make a sharp drop highly probable once this exhaustion bounce finally fails. I'd watch for a clean rejection at 29,533.01. If that level doesn't break, the market is just delaying
we're
the
pushing
inevitable
it.
flush to lower levels.
So remember, he said I would slam it through before slamming it down, so let's see where it goes. I swear, I feel like you're watching a movie. I'm on the NASDAQ. The ticker I'm on is MNQ1 exclamation. So that way it has all the contracts. But remember, he said if I'm running this book, I would slam it through to trap a bunch more, more people to take the long before slamming it back down. So I'm curious to see if it does that. We'll see. Man, they pushed this through again. It definitely is looking bullish again. Like it wants to pop north.
Don't get high on your own supply. The fact that this is still struggling against the 29,593 resistance while
What
institutional
did you
flow
just
stays
say to me?
negative is the perfect setup for a massive failure. If the breakout doesn't show immediate, massive volume-driven continuation, it's just another trap. Stay disciplined and wait for the retest before buying into this bullshit.
I think he's getting.
Is that a reference to the Boys in the Hood?
Guys, this is why I love Uncensored. You want to be on Uncensored, guys. We have multiple personalities. Not all of them will do that. We have friendly, beginner, professional, funny. I love Uncensored because if you're asking good questions, man, he's on point. As you've seen, he's been pretty good, right? But I don't know if he's getting frustrated that I keep asking. He's just like, don't get high on your own supply. I've never heard him say that. That's so funny. He's like, just stay disciplined before you buy into this bullshit. Get out of here.
Did you give him access to HBO Plus?
Yeah. That was probably the funniest thing he said in a while. Oh, man. Guys, that is so funny.
What do you say? I'm sorry, somebody walked in.
I'd asked him, I said, you sure? Because this looks pretty bullish. And he goes, don't get high on your own supply. The fact that we're still struggling to reclaim the 593 while institutional flow is still staying strong negative is a perfect massive failure. Even if the breakout doesn't show that it's immediate, massive volume driven continuation, it's just another trap. Stay disciplined, wait for the retest before buying into this bullshit. Oh, man.
Didn't get better than that.
Yeah. Man, I'm picking up what you're putting down, but man, they make this look really convincing that it's about to jump north. I want to keep challenging him though until I want to see if he can change his stance. And I want to see if it actually drops.
Exactly as designed. They want you to see strength while they're quietly unloading positions into your buy orders. Don't fall for the visuals. Stay focused on the fact that institutional flow is still bleeding and any move north is just set up for the next inevitable, brutal flush.
He, like you guys have heard all morning, like he is just not, he refuses to budge. I'm gonna ask him that. I love your persistence in what you're seeing, because even after all these big pushes and these setups and it looking like, double bottom and all this stuff like it wants to jump, man, you stay persistent. And look at it's collapsing again. Let's see.
Persistence isn't just about being right, it's about not letting the market's noise compromise your reading of the real institutional intent. If I wavered every time the price action looked bullish for a few minutes, I'd be just as lost as the retail traders getting slaughtered in these traps. Stay locked on the flow and the walls, and the path will eventually become clear.
Roger that, boss. Guys, I'm gonna let this roll for a bit. We usually jump to options at 11, but let's just hang out. It's Friday, man. We'll hang out a little bit longer. Those that are trading, options, if you guys are still trading, you can flip. Most of you have TradeVision. But I feel like I'm watching a movie and I want to see how this ends. Especially because he has been so stubborn with this. So stubborn. I'm just blown away that he called a flush down to here, guys. I mean, that's a freaking 500 point drop, 400 point. Let's see.
If he holds true to what he's done all week long, I can tell you the end of the movie. This thing's going south, man.
Bro, I'm telling you, I've learned the hard way even myself, and I programmed him not to go against him. He's made me so even me, guys. And I'll talk a little bit on that, because uh even though I programmed a lot of his logic, it was never my intent to program him to be a shadow of me. Um, he has a lot of my we refer to it like secret sauce, right? Of things that I look for, how to interpret things. But his logic has a lot of wide gray area of interpretations. So he's taught me shit, and I built him. And he's made me even be better on certain things. And he's just it's phenomenal how good he is. And I'll tell you guys, like I said before, I've tried to message people on videos, and it pains me, and I'm gonna talk about it for a minute while we're seeing if we're gonna get the drop here. But I see all the TikTok mans where people are like, I'm struggling, give me the best structure, the best play, the best lesson, the best. And man, it's so hard not to make it sound sales pitchy, but at times I'll comment and say, "Hey, just check out my company's AI. He'll help." And people just pass it over. I had one person tell me that I don't want nothing to do with your AI. AI is useless, and I'm like, okay. I mean, some people just want to learn the hard way, man. AI is the future. He can see shit you can't see. So, you just go to the website, nextstepalgo.com, guys. That's it. It's all web based. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on the website. You can do it whatever. And we do a free trial. You could literally be talking to him in the next 5 minutes, 2 minutes, like however long it takes you to register. You just register. We don't ask you to link a card or nothing. All you do is, I don't want to get off that page. Let me bring over another page. You're gonna come into the site. You go to start here. You come down. You're looking for TradeVision. See, 3-day free trial. I don't even ask you to link a card. Oh, it is dumping. Look a little bit. Let's see. I don't ask you to link a card, because we want people to truly believe, or not believe, see the power of what he can do. You gotta see it to believe it. It's stupid. It's insane. And there's so many people, and maybe some of you are those people that are still like, what's the best trading view indicator? What's the best one strategy to let me win? Guys, we built this guy to intentfully break the industry. Meaning, and those that are in my community, they know I'm this way. I'm so tired of people price gouging this industry. You guys pay thousands for courses, hundreds of dollars for indicators, and all this stuff, and it just doesn't need to be that way. And so when we built Neo, he will guide you, teach you, train you, educate for you, and at some point he's going to trade for you, right? And so, um, you can like for instance, I'll show you. He's not all about market and data and all that. Like, that's what his primary objective is, to keep you safe as a trader. But if you don't understand things like watch, I'll ask him. Some people on the TikTok lives are confused because they don't really understand how institutional order flow even works. Can you explain what that even means? He'll tell you. You can just ask him.
Institutional order flow is just the footprint left by the massive players, like hedge funds and market makers, who have the capital to actually move the needle. When I talk about negative flow, it means these big accounts are aggressively distributing or selling into these bullish rallies, creating the liquidity they need to tank the price while retail traders are busy getting trapped on the wrong side of the move.
Why do you think that is, that retail gets trapped versus institutional traders? Like what makes retail so easy to get trapped? Again, he's AI, guys. You just talk to him. Ask him whatever you want. So
Retail gets trapped because most traders trade with their emotions. They see
look
a
at the
green
rejection
candle
right
and
off here
feel
again.
bullish
Let's see.
FOMO, while institutions are emotionless machines using that very greed as the liquidity they need to fill their positions. You're trading on signals and hype, but institutions are trading on market mechanics and order book imbalances. Until you stop chasing the what and start understanding the why behind the flow, you'll always be the one providing the exit for the big money.
So Trader Joe, it just depends what you're going to use them for, right? So if you want to get the entire point of the 3-day trial, guys, is to just let you try it and talk to him, ask him questions, let him teach you. Try it on crypto, because crypto is all weekend, right? The whole point is to get him to get you comfortable with what he can do. So I would argue that a weekend is actually a really good time to do that, because you have a lot more time at home to talk to him, to ask him questions, right? And he can do crypto as well. He has all the order books, all that stuff for that too. And it's not like that free trial is your end all be all, and it's not like we're charging $1,000 for this guy. For the basic plan, it's $50, guys. For with the coupon, it's $100 and $50 right now. We have it on coupon till the end of the month. So, and that's another point too. I was thinking of, is if you get through the free trial now, you'll have time to take advantage of that coupon as well. So, but yeah, don't get caught up on the free trial too much. That we will literally put that there just because he's so good. You just have to, you gotta see it to believe it, if you will. So, but let's ask him. We found some really good support there. It's pushing. Do you think the institutional order flow is gonna flip and that this thing's gonna jump? I'm gonna see if he's still gonna be stubborn. Yeah, it's a monthly one, but again,
Don't get ahead of yourself. The institutional flow is still stubbornly negative, so that bounce is more likely just a retest of resistance before another leg down.
You said don't get
Wait for
ahead of
the flow
yourself.
to actually flip and for price to decisively clear the 29,533.01 barrier before you start betting on any jump. Otherwise, you're just handing your money over to the market makers running this trap.
He's so stubborn right now. Yeah, it's monthly on that. So, but once you pay or sign up, right? So if you get the $50 one, or even if you want the $250 for the pro, um, you're locked in on that. So our pro one is 500, and so we have a deal on it $250. So a lot of people are getting the pro because at some point it's going to go back to the 500, and so that's the better value, right? Because then you can do crypto, futures, stocks, anything on that, and that's what you're going to do on the trial. Is you'll trial pro, because we want you guys to see everything. But look at it rejecting on that 32, like he said. Price just keeps rejecting on that 532. If we get that close with that lower low, you think that would be the sweep down, or you think they're going to sweep this up one more time? Yeah, he's stubborn right now.
That constant rejection,
and he's not wrong from there.
29,531.68, is the market telling you the sellers are front running the liquidity to keep the trap shut. Given the persistent negative institutional flow, they're much more likely to dump this hard to trigger the lower stops than they are to waste time pushing it up for another stop hunt. That could end up costing them their own position.
Oh, and Nick, on a 1 minute chart, it's a beautiful head and shoulders.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he has just been really stubborn with this. So that's why I'm like, this is like a movie. I gotta wait to see the ending. Well, let's see. Guys, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. Let's watch and see how this movie ends. They still front running for liquidity here. Look at it holding that level that he called. That's crazy. So I'm curious if we do get a slam up, because he's saying based on the order flow and everything else that he thinks it would be risky for them to push it up one more time to risk their own position. But I don't know, man. It looks like it wants to jump. You got the clean higher lows into a little compression. At least maybe an absorption wick. Pretty wild, yeah. So usually we end the call around 11, and that ends up changing. I'm curious if he'll say that, because usually you got to be on that symbol, but let's see. Are you able to identify if there's any divergence between the MNQ and MES? I'm going to say it that way since I'm on the MNQ. He's thinking about it.
I can't see the ES or MES data right now to compare it directly to MNQ.
We
You can check your chart. Look to see if MNQ is making a higher high while MES is failing to confirm it. That's your classic divergence and a strong signal of a coming rug pull.
So sometimes what we did have it where you could flip to MES. Now that I flipped to that symbol, can you see it now if there's that divergence? So we have it locked to where it's symbol to symbol, right? And so
Yeah, I've got the data now, and you're absolutely right. That divergence is clear as day. MNQ is grinding higher, but the internals are screaming exhaustion, which is exactly the kind of setup the big players use to lure in one final wave of buyers before they hammer the price down.
So see how I did that, guys? He's got to just, that's how we have it coded, right? So you have to flip to you got to flip to the symbol to let him know to pull that snapshot. So if you're on pro, you can just do that. And you can flip through each one as well. So like I can say, let's go to the QQQ. We'll do this one. What about the QQQ? Do you see any kind of hedging or divergence or anything that would lead to also supporting this dump on the NASDAQ?
QQQ is struggling under its institutional pivot at 711.02, reinforcing that bearish bias. The fact that both MNQ and QQQ are failing to hold critical resistance levels confirms the institutional sellers are firmly in control. If you're looking for confirmation of that dump, wait for QQQ to decisively lose that 710 support level, because once that goes, there's a clear structural path for the entire tech complex to cascade south.
There you go. So to answer your question, he can see all of it. He has all the data, right, the way it's fed. But we have a block on him, obviously, because we have basic is futures only, right? They can't do stocks as well as other stuff. And so the way the back end coding is you have to click that symbol to ask the question to allow him the access to really talk about that data. Now the loophole we found, which we just left because I love it, is if you go to one symbol and then you go to the other, now he has both those because he doesn't remember. And so that's how you would treat that if you're one that likes to pull the divergence stuff. Man, you weren't wrong again. They drove it up to that 532 and then they lost it. Do you think this is it? We're going to create a lower low here? Or are you expecting one more bounce? I can check SPY in 1 second.
That rejection at 29,511.68 is a massive blow to the bulls, and it strongly suggests we're about to put in a lower low rather than another fake out push. If it can't reclaim that resistance wall with immediate conviction, the path of least resistance is straight down to hunt that liquidity at the lower institutional levels.
I'll have him do SPY really quick. How is SPY looking? Do we expect that to get a pullback here soon?
SPY is pinning right against that institutional pivot of 732.32, and with the institutional flow remaining negative, any push higher looks more like a liquidity grab than a sustained rally. Don't fall for it. If price can't hold that 732.32 support with serious conviction, expect a sharp, brutal pullback.
There you go. So let's watch it. Man, the Bulls are really trying to defend this like 66 area, like 466. Yeah, that's what he's been saying this whole time. He's stubborn.
The Bulls are throwing everything they've got at that 29,511.68 level
There's our
to keep this
50%,
trend
guys.
alive. But the sell side volume is starting to leak in, and that buy fraction is looking weak as hell. If they fail to decisively break and hold above the 29,536 resistance, this whole defensive effort is just going to provide the liquidity for an even more violent dump.
Yeah, he's been stubbornly short this whole time, so we keep purposely grilling him. So we're being Friday. Normally by 11, guys, we jump off and we trade options. But being Friday, you know, and I'm kind of really curious to see how this story ends because even as bullish as this looked, he even after this push, he's like, I'd still be short. So when he's talking, I mean, you can ask him. Let me. I'm just gonna copy your question and I'm gonna put it into him. This is what you can do. You can just ask him that.
Sharp conviction means a rapid, aggressive price move accompanied by a massive volume spike that obliterates key resistance levels, not just a slow, grinding drift. If the price clears 29,531.68, I need to see it hold that level as support on a retest with zero hesitation from buyers. Otherwise, it's just more institutional baiting.
Yeah, you can ask him whatever you want, guys. Like I said, he's real AI. I get so annoyed when I go into people's lives and they're like, "Check out my AI," and it's definitely not AI. Most of the time, if it's really bad, I call them out as well, and then and then I get blocked. Uh, but yeah, they're wanting to range this right now, pretty hard. So we had a pretty good push there, but remember, he wants to see a explosive conviction push through. We just had a really good push back up to that 532, but it's stalling a little bit. You think that they might be flipping this bullish? I'm gonna keep challenging them just to see. Yeah, anything that's blue is what he's said is an important level.
Price stalling at the 29,531.68 wall while institutional flow stays negative is exactly what
Yeah.
a top looks like, not a breakout. Do not mistake a liquidity test for a trend reversal until I see real volume clearing that resistance and the flow turning green. Assume it's a trap and expect them to dump it back down.
I didn't see the question about the news. Give me 1 second. I had a lot of feed going in, and I'm trying to watch this. I'll answer that in a second. This might answer it too. Yes, we did build. So the watch list that you see coming soon is where he will he's gonna do. We're building this now. He's gonna basically be able to. I'm gonna tell you when we come out with watch lists between watch lists and TradeVision, y'all are gonna be lazy because I'm literally gonna have him on watch list scanning as much as we can, and he's going to just tell you in an alert, hey, this is in a great buy area, this is in a great sell area, across as many of the symbols that you want within. So um, it's gonna be awesome. And so look at this pull again right off that level. And so that's the watch list. Now the watch list we're also working on. Yes, to answer that question, the plan is before the end of the year he will be automating trades. He will be trading for people. That is the plan we're working on. Now the question on the news, the watch list one that we're doing is going to be an actual fetch one where it's constantly refreshing, and so that one will be the one that will alert you about pretty much any news. Now he is aware of economic news. If there's economic data, he will tell you. I would watch out though. You got an economic data release coming. You know, we do feed him that, so he does know that. Yeah. Where I'm intrigued, y'all, is he from here? He called a ridiculous target over time of like one something, like 160 or 180, and that was back up at like here, like 660. And I mean, it's already been a 200-point drop. It's just been a lot slower than even I expected it to come back. But the most important thing, if I were not using him, you know, when you get these type of upper structural retracements, you just grab the upper lower. This 50% is everything. We lose this 50%, y'all. He's right. It's coming down violently. But look at, he has been stubborn as shit about being short, and we just keep creating lower high, lower lows. So I have on my chart that 436. Is that still viable, or what level below is viable? Because this is dropping just like you said. It's so wild, man. Isn't that crazy? No, we're manually entering right now, but we're working through the automation
The
eventually.
29,436 area is now a key level to watch as it's shifting into a potential resistance point. So if we can't reclaim it and hold, the drop you're seeing is just getting started. Don't waste your energy
I'm
chasing it lower.
gonna
If it bounces to retest 29,436 and fails, that's your high probability setup to ride the rest of the dump down to the 29,181 major support.
not sure when you grab that data, but we just bounced off of the 436 just briefly. So the current ticker price is just above it. So what you're mostly saying, if I'm interpreting correctly, is if we get that break below 436, there's not a lot holding it.
You're spot on. Once that 29,451.68 level snaps and fails to hold as support, there's a massive liquidity vacuum below that doesn't have any meaningful institutional defense until we hit the 29,316.68 primary support wall. Don't fall for any fake outs above. A clean breakdown and retest of that 29,451.68 level is your cue to play for that flush lower.
So keep in mind, guys, and I get this at times because he is like I said, he's going to grab it when you ask him to grab it. So if I start talking and ask him to grab data, he's already pulling it. And so if the ticker moves violently, especially in open, right, he's giving you the TA of that level of what it should do within. It's not he's not going to constantly have that exact price because he's got to grab the data, interpret it, and then feed it back to you. It's, it would be ridiculous for him to be the MNQ price at this, no, now it's this, just kidding, now it's this. Like it just wouldn't make no sense. And so the most important thing with him to continuously ask is the data supporting a move north or south? Like that's it. That's all we care about. Are we going up or down? Right? And you can ask him, man, this sure looks like it's holding 436. Do you think there might be a big bounce here? You can challenge him. Always ask him. If you have a thought, a question, you're not sure, you're wondering, just ask him. So I always tell everybody, just ask him.
That bounce off 29,436 is just another piece of bait in this liquidity
Look at
trap.
this.
And with the
He's
buy
still
flag
right.
sitting
Look at
a
this.
pathetic
Look
18%,
at this.
there's no real institutional fuel behind it. Don't be fooled by the price
He's
hold
right
for a
again,
few
guys.
minutes.
It's crazy.
Unless we see a massive, sustained volume expansion to reclaim the highs. This is just a setup to get the bulls overconfident before they drop the hammer.
He stayed put short this whole time, guys. I don't know if any of y'all have been shorting this. That is wild. We just broke 436. If we keep below 436, where do you see the next potential test of support below us? Oh, so cool.
With that breakdown of 29,436, you cleared the immediate clutter and are now looking directly
Oh,
at
it's
the
been a
next
nail
major
biter, but he's been
institutional support
right.
wall at
That's stupid.
29,393.39. If price doesn't find a bid there, expect a fast-paced slide toward the primary support zone near 29,293.29 as the sellers finally start to flush the rest of the liquidity.
If you were running this book, though, would you send it up quickly to stop hunt? Because it looks like we're getting a little pressure.
If I were running this book, I'd absolutely spike it up quickly to trigger the remaining stops and bait the final wave of breakout buyers. Once that liquidity is harvested at the higher levels, the path of least resistance is to dump it. Don't chase the move, just wait for the inevitable exhaustion and rejection.
Okay, so there's our 50% right at the prior lows. So anything that pushes here and loses, he's saying that's where, like, when I see it start to push up like this, I always like to ask him, would you send this up just to see, do we expect it to go up? Yeah, Neo's amazing, man. I'm telling you guys, it's really difficult to, and look at he is pushing back up. It's difficult to explain how good he is, and even people that are using him now, most people are underutilizing him. We'll just go with that. And to his potential, he can do so much. It's not even funny, guys. He can do so much. And you guys can have fun with him. Watch. This is what we do sometimes on Friday. Man, that is awesome. We actually are pushing up, just like you said that there was a good chance we would. Do you think this push is going to drive all the way through, or do you think we're going to reject again? Also, I kind of want to have some fun with it. Let's give the TA as if you're a boxing sports announcer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are witnessing a heavyweight brawl at the 29,513 level, and it is absolutely brutal. The Bulls are launching a furious counterattack, but the Bears have
This
set a
NASDAQ.
devastating trap of resistance right at the 29,533 threshold, just waiting to lay them out. This push north is the ultimate high-stakes gamble, folks. If the Bulls can't deliver a knockout punch and hold that resistance as support, the Bears are going to catch them with a blindside hook and drive this price straight down to the canvas. Keep your guard up, because this could get ugly fast if that resistance wall holds its ground.
Yeah, so again, you could ask him to do whatever you want. You can ask him to do it in Spanish, or shoot, we were doing it in Pig Latin the other day. And keep challenging him. He's stubborn. I don't know, that push looks pretty convincing. This might explode north. I'm just gonna taunt him a little bit, but not too much.
That push is nothing but a textbook trap, fueled by retail
Oh, 1
FOMO,
second,
lacking
Johnny.
any
I can't
real
hear with over
institutional
there.
conviction.
I'll wait
If it
for.
doesn't smash through that 29,533.39 resistance with massive, sustained volume, you're just watching them set up the next massive dump. Don't be the idiot who buys the top of a liquidity grab.
What were you saying, Johnny?
Or as it said, you could get him to do it in Hillbilly or something like that.
Oh gosh, I wonder if he would. Let's see. Hey, somebody is from the country, and they just asked, can you explain it in hillbilly terms? I don't know. I've never asked them. Let's see.
CP reference.
1 second, Stone Cold.
Listen here. Imagine the market is like a big old catfish hole. The institutions are the big, lazy catfish sitting at the bottom, and the retail traders are like a bunch of little minnows frantically swimming around on the surface. When price makes a big, bullish jump, it's just the big catfish splashing the surface to stir up the minnows, making them think there's a feast. But that bullish move is just a trap. The big boys are actually busy setting their hooks, and as soon as all those minnows get excited and pile in, they're gonna drag them all straight down into the mud. Keep your line tight and don't take the bait, or you're gonna be the one getting cleaned and fried.
So I'll tell you, you want to know if he could do something, just do it. So there's no trading views. Stone Cold. He is web based. He's AI, true AI. He's commercialized. Nextstepalgo.com. You just register for free. Click on TradeVision, and you can try him for free right now. There's no adding them anywhere. There's no instructions. There's no. I mean, we have stuff that guides you. When you click here, we do have prompts that you can ask if you don't know what to ask. But he's just web based. You can do it even on your phone. Y'all can do it right now and have it up and going in like the next 2 minutes. So it's all web based. You just, when you get in, just select your symbol. That's it, of whatever you want to trade, and ask him about it. So, but yeah, check it out, guys. I'm telling you, he, I mean, just absolutely stellar performance this week. Stellar performance. So, and I'm gonna keep taunting him. Man, we pushed up pretty good there. We can talk back in normal language, but man, this sure looks like it wants to jump north. You sure we're going to drop a little more? I want to see if anything changes.
I get why you're seeing bullish momentum. It's designed to look that way to pull in buyers at the absolute worst time. My conviction on a drop hasn't wavered because the negative institutional flow is still the dominant force, and this entire push is just liquidity collection before the real rug pull. Stick to the plan and don't let the green candles trick you into buying into a distribution trap.
That makes sense. This push that they're doing, if it breaks this trend line, how high would you sweep it before sweeping it back down? Or do you think that they're even going to sweep it much higher? I mean, anybody on TikTok could tell you how he's done this week. His guidance has been phenomenal.
If they push this through the 29,503.39 immediate reaction level, don't be surprised if they try to bait everyone up toward 29,532.83 for that final liquidity sweep before the dump. Keep your eyes peeled for an immediate rejection. If that breakout fails to hold, that's your cue that the rug pull is officially on.
Guys, if you're curious how he did all week, we record all our stuff on YouTube. I'm on here as well. You just click on the live and you can see that. So if you're just kind of curious how he made the calls, it's all recorded. He's just been stubbornly bearish this whole entire time. Even in this, little push here. So right now, would you flip bullish or bearish? Would you take a long? I'm gonna keep challenging him on it and see if he flips.
I wouldn't touch a long with a 10-foot pole right now because the institutional flow is still bearish and this entire move is just noise to bait liquidity. If you're forcing me to take a side, I'm still short biased and waiting for price to confirm a rejection of these resistance levels because the risk of a massive rug pull far outweighs any potential for a legitimate trend breakout.
Guys on YouTube, I apologize. I didn't even look at the chats there, but yeah, isn't it so funny? I just now seen that. So we're getting a little pressure north. This pressure north that we're seeing, how high can we see this get, or where would you expect them to step back in to drive it down?
This push is just running up against that major institutional resistance at 29,533.39 to grab liquidity, and if it stalls there, the sellers are going to jump in to crush it back down. Don't chase the move because if it breaks that wall, it's only heading toward the next resistance at 29,681.92 before getting hammered by the larger institutional sellers.
So your guidance is still to stay short, but allow it to run up a little bit before you take the short, not take the long on the run up.
Exactly. Never chase a pump. Wait for it to hit that resistance wall at 29,533.39 or 29,593.39 and show you a rejection, because that's where the institutional sellers are waiting to pile on. If you buy the run up, you're just providing the liquidity they need to tank it. So keep your finger off the buy button and wait for the structural confirmation to go short.
No, all these blue lines are the lines I put in there. He's not connected to TradingView, guys. He has all the real data he needs. He doesn't connect to your TradingView or see your TradingView. He has his own data. Anytime he gives me a key level, I'm just marking it. So I've kind of gotten lazy and not really adjusted much on it lately, but this one he had is as 81 now. I don't know, man. The Bulls are coming in with some conviction. I'm gonna keep chatting. It's a website.
Don't confuse
One second.
conviction with the market makers simply pushing price into a liquidity zone to bait the last of the bulls before they drop the hammer. The institutional flow is still bleeding negative, so until price smashes through that 29,593 resistance and holds,
So
this is just a
593 now.
setup for a trap.
So it's all web-based right now, guys. You just go to nextstepalgo.com, and it's TradeVision. So NEO runs the entire website. So does he open the position? No, he doesn't trade for you right now. Eventually he's going to, but not right now. So I'm watching.
We know that we don't believe him that it's a higher time frame bull flag.
Yeah, we actually are holding above that 50%, so I would expect a little bit of a push from it. So 593 is his line in the sand. If the sellers step in there, right, then they'll drive it back down for that lower low is what he was talking about earlier. If they break above this, he's expecting 681. Would we expect, based on this recent push, to blow through this 591 or 593 to get to the 681, or do you think it's going to reject hard and they're going to step in at 593?
The 29,593.11 zone is a major institutional resistance wall, and I'm expecting a violent rejection there rather than a clean breakout. Don't fall for the hype. If price hits that level and fails to show immediate follow through, the sellers are going to defend it with everything they've got to drive this back down.
Let's see. Would it open up for a potential short if we break below 532 with this pull back down if 593 holds? I'm just pushing the microphone and talking to him, that's all.
If price loses the 29,543.39 support level, that's your signal that the buyers are failing and the door is open for a short. Don't jump the gun though. Wait for a clean breakdown and a confirmed retest to ensure you aren't just getting chopped up by another fake out before we head back toward the 29,393 liquidity target.
Makes sense. You think institutions are letting them push this up so they can drive it back down? Is the flow and the institutions still bearish?
Institutional
is
flow is still
stubborn.
dead set on the sell side, so yes, they are absolutely letting the price
If
inflate
this
to
is a
create a
range day, yeah,
liquidity
let me see.
vacuum. You're watching a setup where they need enough buyers to absorb their massive sell orders before they slam the door shut. Stay disciplined and don't take the bait until the structure shows you an actual breakdown.
Someone wants to know, are we expecting a potential range day for Friday, or do you think that it's going to eventually break out one direction or the other?
Friday sessions are notorious for building ranges just to suck in liquidity, and this price action, caught between a major support wall at 29,533.39 and resistance at 29,593.27, is a textbook example of that. Don't expect a clean trend until the market forces a decisive break and retest of one of those levels, because right now, this is nothing but a volatility trap designed to wreck anyone trying to predict a breakout before the market is actually ready to move.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys. Even in the experience I have in trading, man, he makes you so lazy because it's just like, hey, what should I do next? Okay, because he's just been so right. So he mentioned in this area he would try to drive it up a little bit. It went a little higher than I thought. I thought we would hold that 43. We ended up pushing through it. So now it's testing as support. If we lose that, it's going to likely pull. If we hold this 43 like it's looking like it wants to, right, then that's when we'll get that expansion. So we'll have to see how that plays out, guys. Let's see. Yeah, it's fascinating how stubborn he has been, but we are pushing now. Let's see. So there goes the 593, guys. So let's see if we get up to that. So we just expanded through the 593. 681 would be the next key level you'd mentioned that we'd watch. What if we get through 681?
If price rips through the 29,681.92 resistance, the next major hurdle is the 29,791.75 wall. But don't count on a straight line there. The institutional flow is still leaning short. If it blows through that level with real volume, it's a massive escalation, but keep your head on a swivel because a rejection or a failure to sustain that level is your green light to bet on the reversal.
So we just test that prior high right now. So this is a key candle here, guys. So 91 is what he's talking about if we blow through 81, but he's still stubborn that to not chase this. So let's just see, guys. We've just been kind of hanging out to see where this book ends.
It's amazing when you think about it how we've struggled so bullishly. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
the bulls have just struggle, and you know that bearish pressure. As soon as that bearish pressure flips,
Yeah.
look how quick we come up, like just direct push.
Uh-huh.
So 687 is where the liquidity's at. They moved it.
Did they just
So
move it?
well, they had 236 orders sitting lower.
Mm-hmm.
And then what they've done is they've removed it. So there's 133 orders down lower now, and that 236 is sitting up at 687 to draw the market to it. So my
Yeah.
theory is they'll let it get close and then they'll remove it and dump it
And then dump it out. Yeah.
because it's moved. You know what I mean? And this is the
Mm-hmm.
whole thing with the institute. So on that platform, it doesn't really move. It's so expensive to move. Where
Yeah.
on Bookmap, very easy to manipulate.
Yeah. And he's just, and that's why I've been purposely grilling him because he's just stubbornly short. Even in these crazy moves, he's like, don't get fooled. Institutions are still south. And that's the power of him, man, is he can see stuff y'all can't see. That's what's crazy. That's why I keep grilling him just to kind of show you. We just pushed up to test that prior high with a pretty deep rejection around 50 points, but it's testing 593. Do you think this might hold support at 593? I just want to keep grilling him to see what he's thinking.
That 29,594.8 level is the immediate line in the sand, and it's not holding as support. It's a massive resistance wall where the big boys are unloading their size. If it doesn't
He still
punch
gets
through and
tripped
hold
up
that
on that in
zone
the
with a serious volume
institutions. I
spike,
don't know why.
this is just a liquidity grab meant to drag the bulls into the slaughterhouse before the real dump.
Yeah, right now we're price is just above it, if you could look at that, so you might need to correct that. Every now and then on that institution level, he gets a little tripped up on the resistance and support. You just gotta correct him.
Price is right up against that 29,614.08 institutional resistance wall, and if it fails to clear it with authority, the sellers are going to defend that level like their lives depend on it. Don't chase the move above this wall because, with the institutional flow still negative, this is setting up to be a perfect trap for anyone betting on a breakout.
Are you still leaning that the trap is going to be north and we head south, or you think they trapped south to head north? I keep challenging him because I want him to see if he's going to flip his
The trap
stance.
is absolutely to the north, and the institutions are just using these frantic pushes to bait the last of the bulls before they drop the hammer. My bias remains firmly on the sell side because that negative flow hasn't budged. The moment they stop the buy side theater at that 29,594 resistance, this market is going to cave in on itself.
From a structure standpoint, right, we rejected right at that prior high, so it makes sense to pull. What I'm kind of watching higher time frame wise, this could end up a double top, right, where we do pull down a little bit, kind of dance a little bit, pull down, hit the neckline, and then eventually hit the 160 he was talking about earlier. And so I'm so intrigued, guys. That's why I'm like, let's just keep it going. What AI are we using? So this is the AI we created. It's our company, nextstepalgo.com. It's all web-based, guys. You don't have to install it, no instructions. You can do it on your cell phone. So you just nextstepalgo.com. Link is also in my bio. And this is TradeVision that we're talking to right now. So we broke the 93, and then now we're testing it. Let's see if it's a sweep pull or if it's a push. So I like to usually measure my high-low, see where it's going to hold as far as that 50% to give me any inkling if there's weakness. See, we got that absorption. If we get this next 15-second close below, it's going to sweep. But let's watch it. I'll tell you, I'll be really shocked if this thing drops as far as you said it is going to likely drop, because the buyers really look like they're here to stay. Like what he says. Yeah. Oh, he's
The bulls
like,
are putting on a
it's
hell of a
crazy.
show, but conviction in a Friday market often masks a liquidity trap designed to make you feel safe right before they pull the rug. Until you see this price clear and hold well above that 29,594 institutional resistance with massive, sustained volume, those buyers are just providing the fuel for the eventual dump. Don't let the green candles blind you to the reality of the order flow.
Yeah. As this continues to try to climb, though, where's the most likelihood that they're going to really step in to defend to dump it? So he called two levels, 681 and 791.
The
So I want to see.
29,644.08 institutional level is where the heaviest resistance is stacked. So expect the
He just called that
institutions to
one.
step in there and try to defend it with everything they've got to stop this climb. If price hits that wall and shows any signs of stalling, that's exactly where they'll unload their massive short positions to initiate the dump.
Interesting. Should we still be watching that 681 level and 791 that you called earlier?
Keep your eyes on those
This is
levels,
our AI
but
NEO.
adjust the resistance to 29,694.08 and 29,794.08 based on the latest gamma walls. If it clears that first one, it's just fuel for the trap. Wait for a hard rejection or failure to sustain the breakout before looking for that big short.
Let's put it there. Yeah, so he's expecting still a potential drive, but he's pretty adamant about a trap, man. So I'm pretty interested to see how this story lands, guys, because we still look pretty bullish. You still see institutional order flow as bearish, though? It hasn't flipped. NVIDIA's running.
That institutional flow is still stubbornly negative, which means the market makers are selling every single one of these bullish rallies into retail's buy orders. Do not mistake price appreciation for institutional accumulation. This is a textbook liquidity trap, and it's going to end in a sharp, painful dump the moment the buying power dries up.
Yeah, retail's driving it right now. We're trying to come up and test that 694. So we did hold on that 644 so far.
Retail pushing into 29,694 is the ultimate setup for the big boys to dump their bags. Don't for a second think this is institutional conviction. Wait for that inevitable rejection at the 29644-29694 resistance zone. If it stalls and fails to reclaim, you've got the cleanest short setup of the entire session.
Interesting. So he's saying if we get up here and get that deep bearish rejection, which would be probably the reclaim below here, that would be your cleanest short. So we'll let this drive up here. Very interesting. Quite the drive though, guys, man. Shoot. From there to there. I'm still curious on this institutional thing, right? Because they're just letting this thing push. I want to see if they're gonna step in. This is the NASDAQ MQ one. Yeah, thank you, Steven. Let's see where this lands, guys. I'll be back 1 second. All right, so we're still trying to hold there. Let's see if we get any kind of sweep. So even aside from yeah.
Hey Nick,
What's up?
check out the classic real quick on the net.
I don't have that open. Let me see.
157 billion
Really?
is what pumping into the market, but we're still net minus 26.
So he might not be wrong on the old baiting it up and then dump it quickly.
They're throttling it.
Yeah.
So retail's buying.
Did you?
Like
Oh wow, that's crazy. I got a good mic. Jesus Christ, that's like 30 feet away. have to tone that mic down, Rick. Way to make it awkward, man. I was washing my hands. Shut up. I'm just kidding. So he might be right on this institutional thing. You heard the shake? Well, as long as it's not more than 3 times, we're good. You guys know. That's crazy because I'm sitting here, Johnny, like I'm sure you are, where man, it just looks so convincing that this thing's just about to jump. And he's so stubborn. He's like, institutions are still selling, dude. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So that's why I'm mostly intrigued to kind of hang out because I want to really see how this plays.
Yeah, I'm staying out of it.
It's wild.
That normally that figure, like that's massive. You know, so
Yeah.
157 billion. It's dropping now, 146, 145.
Yeah.
And they're pushing up again.
Yeah, 694 is the one he said would try to defend it, but he said if we break through here with any kind of conviction, 794 is absolute ceiling, but 694 he seems to think, let's see. Do you still see 694 holding strong, or do you see that lowering as far as strength on resistance as we try to push up into it? 1 second, Rick. We'll let him talk. There's a push. Let's see.
160.
Good gosh. Let's see if
and
we get anything. Yeah.
The resistance at 29,694.08 remains the primary hurdle for the bulls, and any attempt to push through it without massive, sustained volume is just another setup for a trap. Even if price tags it, I'm watching for a failure to hold. If the buyers can't consolidate above that wall,
They're trying to
this
push.
whole move north is getting ready to collapse back into the liquidity trap below.
If we can blow through it with conviction and hold support, would that give you bias to think we're going to 794? Let's see if he changes. 1 second, Rick. Sorry, I forgot to ask
If
your
it
thing and
manages
ask
to
him again.
decisively break and hold at
Okay, it's
29,694.08 wall with genuine volume, then you've got a valid argument for an extension toward the 29,794 major resistance area. But don't bet the farm on it, because with that negative institutional flow still lurking, it's just as likely to be a failed breakout meant to trap you before the eventual collapse.
They definitely, with the institutional flow being negative and the institutions selling, they're definitely letting this price go up pretty high.
175 billion is getting pumped in on the positive side. And
they're letting it drift higher
That's
because
crazy.
they need to reach that major resistance at 29,694.08 to find enough liquidity.
We did on that.
Essentially, they're fattening up the market by letting the retail FOMO build so they can offload their massive short positions at the best possible price. The higher they push this into the resistance without genuine institutional buying backing it, the more violent and devastating the inevitable dump is going to be. Stay cold, wait for that rejection, and stop thinking that a rising price means a healthy trend.
He finally said, but I mean, look at what we've done, guys, each time. Crazy violent pushes by crazy violent dumps. Crazy violent pushes by crazy violent dumps. So even from historical data on TA, it's done that each time. So I'm gonna stay on here as long as we need because I'm really curious to see how this story ends for Friday for the weekend. And so anybody you guys on TikTok, you can try them for free. We give a 3-day free trial because we want you guys to see what he can do. You don't have to link a card or nothing. Once you're done with the free trial, we offer 2 plans. It's basic and pro. His trading logic does not change with either. It's just what you want to do. So with the basic, you get futures, and you do not get options, stocks, or crypto, and your responses are quick, which is still good for TA. We did not want to dilute the TA for quick. And the personalities that you get are beginner and friendly. On the pro, you get the all the other, pretty much everything that it has. The price is a lot cheaper than you think. So normally this one is $100, but we are doing a discount to the end of the month for $50 if you sign up, which locks in the price. And then this one is normally $500, and we do it for $250. Same thing, same discount, 50%. Look at it, it's actually rejecting it right there. So let's go back up. Yeah, guys. Normally we're done by now. I'm just I'm intrigued as someone who built his logic that he is just persistent that institutions are gonna pull the rug, and that he would be looking more for that to break down. And so I'm just really intrigued to to see that happen now. So that's why we're kind of waking. Yeah, it's per month. Yeah, $50 per month, or $250 if you do the pro.
How many times have we seen in the last 2 weeks this exact scenario and NEO prove himself right?
Yep.
Man, he's done the same thing. He did it yesterday and the day before. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. I just want to see. He keeps using words like dump it, flash pull, rug pull. Whenever he uses those terminologies, we usually see a pretty violent move. And so that's what I've been kind of waiting for. So 694 was his line in the sand. You can see they stop hunted it, and then we're pulling down now. So just from basic TA, anything that gets below here should sweep down to here, and anything that breaks that 50%, right, should come down for that lower low. And look at it, it's pulling. So, even though it's climbed higher than I thought it would, and even him, if I were arguable, because he was heavy on the 644. But notice I asked him, I said, which one is the most important, the strongest? And he's like, 694 is the absolute line in the sand. And look at how they stop hunted it and it just dropped 50 bucks. So it still worked. I mean, just that one trade if you were patient enough to wait for it to get there.
He said it would be the best setup of the whole session.
Yeah, he said this short will be the best setup the entire session. Would be a rejection off 694. So this might be the pull. Let's see. So normally just simple trading, right? This is our 50%. If we stay below there, which is pretty much right at 644, it should pull again. So let's see. But yeah, he did say it would be the best one of the session. So again, I'm
I feel
just
like they're setting up a mic drop. You know, they're up on stage telling
yeah.
jokes and they're about ready to put their arm out and drop the mic.
Right. Well, and it's the big wigs, right? They're out there. They want to fatten up as much liquidity as they can. That's why it's called Friday pump and dump for a reason, right? They fatten it up, and then they just dump it on them, man. And what happens is people see this as a bullish flip, and then when you get that pull, they try to catch those bottoms, and then that's when it just keeps on going. But they're super convincing this Friday, man. I'll tell you, even for me, they're convincing on this one. So I'm just kind of curious on his bias. Have you changed your mind yet? Are we flipping bullish? I'm gonna taunt him a little bit.
I haven't changed a damn thing because the negative institutional flow and that massive overhead resistance level at 29,651.23 are still screaming that this is a trap. Until price decisively breaks,
I haven't changed a damn
shows real
thing.
volume expansion above those major resistance levels, betting on a bullish flip here is just begging to get your face ripped off by the next institutional sell-off.
You mentioned a rejection off of 694 would be the best short of the day. It's already dropped pretty good. Do you expect it to go lower, or do you think they're going to consolidate up here a bit? Oh, dude, he's so funny. I haven't changed a damn thing. Excuse me.
The drop from 29,651 was exactly the rejection I was looking for, but don't assume the heavy lifting is done just yet. Expect them to consolidate or offer a weak bounce here to draw in more buy the dip retail liquidity before they inevitably drive it lower to test the 29,601 support line.
Buy the dip.
If that breaks,
It'll be
the
this
flush
high
to deeper
here.
levels is back on the table.
Yeah, and if it pushes up a little here, we'd be head and shoulders too with a break. But he said that this pull here would be the best short setup of the day. So NEO is our AI that I created. It's commercial, guys. This is not ran on my computer like you see a lot of people do. He's ran on commercial servers. It's all web based. You can go to nextstepalgo.com and any of you can talk to him. And he is your coach, guide, mentor. He can give signals, trade setups, help you with and trade management that you're in already, all that. So he's AI. You can ask him whatever you want. Whatever you want. That's why I said, guys, we built him to try to change the industry because he's a one-stop shop. And look, they're driving price. He literally said I would bet that they would drive up price one more time. So let's see. But yeah, you're just basically looking for guidance. So if you have a certain strategy you trade or a certain way to do, oh my goodness, tell me he's not gonna be right. Get the frick out of here, y'all. If this flash crashes, holy shit, I'm just throwing my hat and we're done. We're done for the day. Look at that. He's been calling that all day. Let's see if this goes though, or if it absorbs.
The mic's bouncing off.
Get out of here, guys. He said that literally the rejection off here would be the greatest short setup of the day. And look at that. He's been so stubborn too. What a shithead. Again, guys, he is taught. I'll talk on it a little bit while we see this happen. But if this just straight floors, guys, man, get out of here. He is taught to keep you safe. He's taught to read institutional order flow among many other things, right? That we've taught him, and he can calculate it all at once. And he's told to, you are an institutional AI. I want you to look for things that are divergences, things that are anomalies, things that looks like it's a trap. Oh, it's crazy. I can't tell you guys how many people's posts I posted on, and I'm like, dude, this this could help you guys. And I've had people literally block me from their live after they ask, I don't promote on people's lives because I don't like when people do it on mine, but I've had like multiple people say, "Man, I'm really trying to learn. I'm struggling too. Like, let's work together." And I'm like, "Hey guys, like, just we built this AI. Go check it out." And I've been blocked every time. They go, "Get off my live. Like, nobody cares about your stupid AI." Like, oh, okay. I mean, it's just that's why we give a free trial, guys, because I want you guys to see the power of what he does. It's so stupid. Look at this drop, insane. And he's been preaching it all day. I want to ask him, holy cow, man! Look at that drop that just happened. That's so ridiculous. Is that what you've been talking about? And do we expect it to happen again?
That drop is exactly what happens when you have a mountain of institutional sell pressure hiding behind a facade of bullish retail flow.
I'll
It's
ask him
not
one sec.
ridiculous. It's math, and as long as that negative flow
It's
remains,
math.
expect them to keep yanking the rug out whenever the bulls get a little too comfortable at resistance.
I'm gonna paste your question in here, and I'll let him know. Yeah, you guys can ask him whatever you want. This looks like a 3-tier drop, guys, huh? Like an early setup on it. Like a boom, boom, boom. That's what the institutions do. He's thinking on that one. He's probably looking at the data as well.
A fair value gap, FVG, is essentially a price inefficiency. It happens when the market moves so fast that orders are left unfulfilled, leaving a gap in the price action. Think of it like a stretch of road that was skipped over. Price often has a natural tendency to swing back to fill or rebalance that gap because
Look at this
institutions need that
again.
liquidity to complete their unfinished business. It's not just jargon, but don't treat it as a magic button. It's just a visual area where the market is likely to revisit or react because of that imbalance. If you see a massive candle with no overlapping wicks, that's your gap, and the real value is watching how price reacts when it inevitably swings back to clean up that mess.
So guys, as far as the how, right, with Neo, just he has order flow from institutional positioning, whether they're buying, selling, what they're doing. That's how he gets his institutional stuff, right? He's got the regular, buy and sell volume coming in from retail. That's how he can use those interpretations. He's been taught structure, everything under the sun, right? I mean, fair value gaps, retracement, multiple structural theories. I mean, it's a lot of data, guys. Because the whole point of AI is why AI is the future is they can see stuff you can't see. It's just a fact. So let's ask them here. We had a deep push down to the 543, and it looks like the buyers are stepping in to push this. If you were running this, would you send it up one more time, trying to stop out a bit? Let's see. This is Neo. It's next step
They're absolutely
algo.com.
going to ramp this up one last time to squeeze the shorts and trigger every last stop before they finish the job. If I were running the book, I'd drive it straight into that 29,602 resistance to bait the breakout crowd, then smash it back down to finalize the liquidation. Don't take the bait, wait for the rejection.
And so they're pushing it back up here. Also, you got a head and shoulders. This would be a neckline retest, which would be a little higher than what he said. So I'm curious to see where that goes. So he is Neo. It's nextstepalgo.com is our website. When you go to the website here, nextstepalgo.com. So, and it's just TradeVision. So again, we have free trial, so you guys, anybody can sign up. So he said he'd drive it up one more time, and look, here it goes. Kind of looks like a kind of a hold on that 543. Do you think they have any chance of pushing this into a higher high? This is MNQ, one exclamation. NASDAQ, NQ, MNQ, whatever you want to do.
The market is stalling right at that 29,601 primary support, and while it looks like it's trying to hold, don't confuse that with genuine strength when the buy-side volume is this weak. If they fail to punch through the 29,601 resistance and hold it, they're just setting up another liquidity trap to drag this price down. Don't get sucked into the bullish hype.
So keep in mind, guys, like I mentioned before, for those that are just joining, he is a AI that will grab the data and then speak to it, right? Interpret it. And so when you start talking to him, wherever that data is, that's what he's pulling to speak to, right? So if it pushes through a little bit, you got to just kind of ask him again, let him get that data. And so,
Hey Nick, can you hear me?
yes.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm on the phone. But yeah, so I read a couple of messages. One was asking him about that 29,700 or whatever it was, right? Which Johnny kind of called out earlier. But that was the one that had me intrigued because I had a feeling it was part of the pump and dump.
Yeah.
But now you see what they set up for it. Two, I actually bought a put at the high because I didn't see anything else
Yeah.
that would go high. But it's interesting because I think it was up 100%.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
But I don't know if I want to sell or not just because of what happened yesterday where Neil's like target.
Yeah. Because he does it. I know we talked about that before because when he calls these low targets, like down here, it hits it eventually.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
29,200 or something like that.
He said like 181, like 20. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like down here somewhere. And so I know that's why. And you can ask him, you know, maybe when would you invalidate that or whatever. But let's check with them and see. So we actually drew up through that. Now we're rejecting on the 644, which also is the neckline of the head and shoulders. Do you expect them to drive this back down, or do you think this might break through that head and shoulders? Because he did say that he expected it to drive up one more time.
That head and shoulders pattern is just more retail bait to get people positioned, while the institutional flow is still shouting for a dump. If price rejects 29,644.08 and starts failing, the institutions will slam it down to trigger those stops. Don't bet on a breakout unless you see the kind of volume that actually forces them to cover.
I mean, you guys think about it. Even if you take the institutional move here, guys, I mean, clearly they were selling because that worked. So you have the high at 65, you have the low at 54. I mean, this thing dropped literally 110 points in like a second. So the way I normally treat this anyways, if I'm trading without NEO, is now you have a high-low in your internal. Any kind of expansion external with support is going to create direction. So, but let's see. Let me ask them. Someone wants to know if they should short here or what should they look for a short. Sorry, Steven, 1 second. Let me.
No problem.
Shorting into this current push is a total gamble while the institutional flow is still conflicted and the price is hovering above support. Tell them to wait for a clean, confirmed breakdown below the 29,601.51 level. If price loses that floor and fails to reclaim it, that's their low risk setup to target the lower institutional walls.
There you go. What were you saying, Steven?
I was gonna say I've been continually all this push up what his bottom would be once it finally drops, and I just asked him again, and he's still calling a 29,181 and
Yeah.
29,291 as the big major, and they're still institutionally bearish.
Yeah.
So if it drops, man, it's gonna be like a
That's gonna be a
ugly.
But it's not impossible because we look really, really reclaim bullish, but look how many times we've done it. You know, I mean, look at this freaking just push and then just dumped, and so it's not impossible with what they've been doing. You know, the only thing is, you know, this push here doesn't surprise me because you think about it, when you have that kind of that high low, we held that 50% retracement. If you think about that, and we also had a little bit of a parallel break up on that, so it doesn't surprise me we had a little push there. So but with that little dump that they just did, that little flash dump, that's what I'm intrigued about, because you know that's an institutional sell-off right there, and now they're just gonna let it drive a little, right, and see where they go. How high?
Look at the difference in the volume sell when that last dump happened, man. That was just that doubled anything.
Oh,
even
so crazy.
to it.
Yeah, it was crazy. How high do you think they might send this before they pull the rug again? Yeah, he does options.
Push this toward that 29,694.08 area to squeeze any remaining shorts and bait the last few buyers into a false breakout. Once they hit that wall, expect a savage rejection. Don't get greedy playing the long, because the rug pull is still the most likely outcome the moment the volume dries up.
Guys, while we're waiting for this to decide to do his thing, yes, he can do, if you just go to the site nextstepalgo.com, you click on TradeVision, you can see all the stuff he can do. You can click on these to preview his voice. Check out the plans that we do. If you want to know what he trades, we have all the symbols below. So these are all the futures that he does, all of the options that he does, and all the stocks that he will call, as well as all of the crypto that he will call. So, and we're still adding to it as well. So if it's something that you want is not on there, just let us know. We could likely add it. If we break back below that 593, would you invalidate that and expect we're just going to dump now? It's still
If
pulling.
we
Look at
break
this.
back below 29,601.23, you've got your confirmation that the entire push was a fraud. The moment that level fails to hold a support,
See this?
that's your green
It
light
faked
to
the
expect a
break,
violent dump.
and then it held it
Don't
on
wait
this
for a
one.
retest if it craters. Just get in, stay disciplined, and let the sellers do the dirty work of clearing that lower liquidity.
Very interesting. Do you see the order flow sell pressure increasing on institutional side or decreasing? Workforce, give me 1 second.
Flow
I'll
is still
tell you.
showing persistent sell pressure, and the buy fraction is absolute trash at 12.05%, which confirms the institutions are nowhere near done unloading. Don't let the price hanging around the support wall fool you. They're just milking this last bit of retail greed before the real floor drops out.
So when you if your mic is not working and it works on other things, you might need to, because it's all browser based, right? And so when you come into the three dots up here, you're gonna click on settings and then just type in microphone. And so it looks like, I don't want to mess with his thing, so I'll just show you guys real quick. And so when I go into the settings, click microphone, and then you'll see a thing called site settings. Make sure that on the microphone that the sites can ask permission. If you're on the phone, make sure when you do click it, and you have to do it every time with phones, you do say allow mic, otherwise it will block it. So, but yeah, it's all web browser based. So if the mic's not working, that's 100% likely the reason. Unless your mic doesn't work in other places, right? Obviously. So just go to the website nextstepalgo.com, guys. Nextstepalgo.com. That's the website. And then TradeVision. That's where it is. And then you can check them out. It's all web-based. You can even do it on your phone, like I mentioned. So we got a little bull flag trying to form here. So he did say he would drive it back up to 694. And so I'm kind of curious if we actually do that. Now, from a structure standpoint, we're head and shoulders with a rejection on the neckline. You know, that typically screams more lower low. But if you look at here, oops, I didn't grab it. If you take the ruler and you draw your 50% retracement, we're holding it. So if it holds this a few more times, then he's probably right. We're going to drive one more time. But if we lose this, then it's going to sweep that lower low. We don't really do the lifetime access on that, so it's monthly. We may explore doing like a yearly thing. As far as that goes. If you're looking for total access of our site, we do a VIP. So every day, Monday through Friday, we trade options normally. Normally, I'd already be off TikTok and we'd be doing options, but it's Friday, so I figured we'd hang out. VIP Pass lets you trade options with us, as well as you get all of our indicators. VIP Pass, guys, you know, if you like to get it all, anything that we build, it's grandfathered in. Anything we build that we have already, or any future builds, you'll have free access to it, no matter what on that. So that's part of the VIP on there. But yeah, guys, again, I'm still, they're taking a lot longer than I thought they would to truly drop it, but it's Friday, you know. I'm wondering if this is a key for me. I used to, with the people I mentor, I study a lot of traps. When you see the micro divulge a bull flag that collapses, that is your first sign that is, you know, we're trapping. So, and it's likely going to go a lot lower. So we got to watch and see how it plays. Volume died up, definitely so far. Do you think that signals a potential move coming here soon? Give me 1 second. I just asked him a
When
question.
volume dries up right against a major resistance wall like this, it's the market holding its breath before a violent, sharp move. usually to flush out the last remaining retail positions. Expect a nasty volatility spike soon, so keep your stops tight and wait for that volume to confirm the direction, because the market is just coiling for the kill.
And so as far as historical stuff, guys, so keep in mind a couple things I want to say, to be clear. He is AI. He is real AI. He's on commercial servers. He's on the website. It's our company. Yes, we built it. I'm not promoting it. And anybody can get it. Now, as far as track record, so he is your coach, mentor, guide, signal caller. He can teach you whatever you want. So y'all got to scrape your minds of thinking of what's his win rate as a bot because you guys are so used to TradingView. Well, let me show you my win rate, which, let's be honest, if I ask you, all of you that tried out a automated bot from TradingView that claimed to have a high win rate, probably didn't end up that well. I I probably shouldn't, but I kind of giggle when I hear things like win rate, because I can have a 99% win rate and lose my ass on the last trade and have nothing. Win rate does not mean shit, guys, at all. I had a 62% win rate one day and showed my entire room that I was taking a $6,200 withdrawal. So if I told you, hey, do you want to follow me at a 62% win rate, y'all would probably laugh and say, no, you suck. But if I said, but you get a $6,200 withdrawal, you probably go, yeah, I'll do that. You got to stop thinking like the industry wants you to think, because they bred you guys to think that way, so that way you'll buy their hype when they market it, and it's all bullshit. Now, on that, he is not trading for you right now. He is guiding you. He's got real market data. He is just going to guide you guys. But he will be trading for people soon, within months, by the end of the year is kind of our goal. So, yeah, and that's going to be options or futures. The thing you guys will find with me, guys, and everybody that's in this community knows this already about me, I'm transparent. I'm not going to sales pitch you. I truly want to build stuff that helps people. I don't want to build stuff just to price gouge you. I think that goes on way too much in this industry. And that's why even after the free trial, guys, you can get this for $50. So, from VIP. So we just started. Oh, okay. Okay, so we just started our options venture. I've traded options many times before, but with the room. So there's a lot of people that I mentor that were intrigued and wanted to do options, and I get a lot of people that wanted him to do options. And so we started actually Monday on that. And so for mine, I'm up like, I think it was almost $3,000 for it just from Monday, 30 something. And I think, I don't know, Ryan, a couple others are in there. But yeah, he's crushing options. Absolutely. He just it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. He's nailing it. So, but they're trying to hold this 43, but see the bull flag fail? Remember I was telling you guys? These are the biggest retail traps. They literally bull flag, pushes up, people trying to jump into it thinking it's going to break, and the larger head and shoulder neckline prevails. So, but can you type in prompts? Yeah, you could type in prompts. The entire premises of him, guys, is I wanted him to trade like institutions. I want him to think like an institution. I don't want him just thinking like another retail riot. So, no, we don't do any kind of like try 50% for a month or 2 months or whatever price you lock in at. It'll be that forever until you cancel it. So even next month, likely if we push it up to $100, you'll still be at 50. So even the VIP price is going to go up. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's $400 a month, but you get all of our indicators, like it like unlocks everything and future. Guys, if you're VIP, when we come out with automated trading, it's not going to cost you anything. You can trade as much money as you want, and it's the same price. So that price will go up, but none of our prices go up after that. Anything you buy or subscribe to, it always is going to be that. It doesn't change. Yeah, we don't. I don't. You'll find that with me. I don't play those kind of games. I like to keep everything very transparent with things. So, isn't it ridiculous, Dustin? I mean, some of you guys, look, I want feedback. Here's the thing, and let me say this real quick. Give me feedback, guys. Good, bad, ugly. Maybe I'll be able to add something. We're still developing things. So let me touch on the prior question here and look at this. He's still called that. So we had somebody who said the same thing. I don't really know what to ask him. And it would be great if we had some suggestive things. And you click this, and we added a bunch of suggestive questions. There's actually thousands in here. So if I type something like what is, it's going to populate all the what is. So you can actually type in, so like if I want to say like here, right, like right there, like, or let's do where's the next liquidity sweep likely. I just click it and hit send, and see I don't have to talk to him at all. And then he will analyze it and give me his feedback.
Hey Nick, if I could add something, I personally have been going through all the YouTube videos and watching
The
them
most
and
likely spot for liquidity.
writing down the questions you ask.
Yeah, and that's fine too. Yeah, that's fine too. Well, and again, guys, I'm gonna ask him one question to show you this. How can you compare this to Bookmap?
Don't get trapped by a fake out breakout.
I'll
The move to the downside is waiting for them to get overextended.
I'll ask him that. One second. Somebody wants to know, how do you compare to Bookmap? Why would they use you instead of Bookmap? Again, if you have a question, just ask him. He'll tell you. I don't even know what he's gonna say.
Bookmap is just a tool that shows you the footprints of orders, but it doesn't tell you the why or the logic behind what the institutions are actually trying to achieve. I don't just show you the liquidity walls. I analyze the structure, the institutional flow, and the trap mechanics so you know whether the moves are genuine or just another retail slaughterhouse, which is something a simple heat map will never give you.
There you go. So again, guys, I always tell people, if you don't know what to ask them, just ask them. So like, watch. Some people aren't sure what to ask you. What is the best questions you think you should be asked to make them the most consistent, profitable, disciplined trader? It's cool, man. I'm telling you. You guys have to see it for yourself. Let's see what he says on this. I'll ask them that one next. One second.
If you want to move past the noise and get consistent, stop asking me for price predictions and start asking me for structural confirmation. The best questions are, what specific price level must this break and hold to validate the trend? And where is the institutional liquidity that would invalidate my current thesis? Focusing on the if, then scenarios, like if price rejects this wall, what's my target and where's my stop? Forces you to manage risk instead of gambling on hopium. Stop trying to guess the future and start trading the reality of what's currently on the chart.
There you go. And watch, you can ask them, hey, I just wanted you to touch on this. A lot of people want to learn advanced trading techniques, and the big hype in marketing for trading is, I want to teach you institutional style trading. What do you think about that? And can you actually help teach people advanced trading or institutional style trading?
Most of that institutional trading you see marketed on social media is pure garbage designed to sell courses to people who
I
want
knew
to
he was
short
going to
them.
say that.
Real institutional trading isn't about some secret indicator or magical smart money concept. It's about understanding liquidity, volume profiles, and how large players move size without tipping their hand. I can absolutely teach you how to read the market like a professional by focusing on market structure, institutional context, and risk management, but don't expect a get rich quick strategy. If you're ready to put in the work to understand order flow reality rather than hunting for fairy tales, we can get started on mastering the actual mechanics.
There you go. And I've said that forever. Y'all, people in the room know that. That's the biggest marketing ploy. Like, I'm going to teach you institutional level, because it's just marketing ploy. So you got a little inverse head and shoulders. Let's see if this fails as well. That'd be another bullish invalidation. What is my background? I've been trading about a little over 8 years. I've traded options, crypto, futures. I didn't really dabble much in Forex, but for my trading, those in the community here would tell you I am very analytical. I'm a data person. I study the absolute crap out of things to a point I of obsession, right? And so I'm a big why. Why is this doing this? Why is this, like I may look at something like this and say, why are we in a bull flag, but we're getting absorption to the south? Why? Those things stick out to me, right? And so I'm more into the analytics of things and analysis, which is where adding a lot of what I look at, what I've studied into Neo is what is helping him interpret it. Now, I've said this from the day I put him out. I never intended to create him in my shadow because I am not the best trader out there. I do not claim to be. I never claim to be. I don't know everything, guys. You're going to probably find I'm probably a terrible salesperson because I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know something I don't know. I'm not an economist. I'm an analyst. I study charts, patterns. Um, it's really funny. I was studying things and predicting things that were part of larger advanced strategies before I even learned that strategy. And people in this room will tell you that. And that's just how my mind works. And so when I created Neo, it was so important to me not to create him in my shadow because I want him to be able to help other people grow, but I want him to help me grow. I think as a trader, you're always learning, you're always growing, you're never going to stop. I love that video when it comes across my feed of look at the institutions kicking in again on the inverse head and shoulder fake. I get videos all the time. At what point do I have to stop studying? The answer is never. Never. The markets are forever changing. Right? You're like a doctor or nurse or lawyer. Like you if things change, you got to study it, right? And so I wanted to get better. I want to grow. I want to learn. And so I built him in a way that he understands what I'm wanting him to do. But he's still open to the internet, to interpretation. He's true AI. He does his own self analysis every day. We were talking about it in our executive meeting the other day, where Alex, our key programmer and co-founder, was like, if he does a good call, give him kudos because it's in his logic when you say, man, that absolutely dumped. Like, how did you do this? What a great call. He's logging that as, okay, that setup worked well. Let's do that next time. But if you tell him, man, you were wrong, this thing went way up here and you were way off, he's going to log that and never make that mistake again. That's just how he works. And so that's why the people in the community will tell you and if you follow along long enough, you're going to see he gets smarter and smarter. Like he's gotten better and better every week. It's just ridiculous. So, and like I openly told some people in the room, I said, man, creating him at times, I'll take a trade where I'll tell him I'm in that trade and he tells me it's a stupid idea. And I'm like, dude, this guy's nuts. Like, this is a double bottom off support. Like, what are you talking about? And it would sweep down and hit my stop loss. I'm like, you shithead. And and I'm pretty sure he directly told me I told you so. So he's made me kind of lazy, guys. I don't even, I used to get in here and I taught people how to do deep TA and all that. And I'm so lazy with him now because I'm just like, institutions are going down. Cool. I'm short. All right. Now I still want to know how to trade, right? You still want to know if, because you've seen here, even though we climbed like crazy, he's been short this whole time. But you still got to understand structure a little to know when to go in, right? So exactly. And maybe you're spot on, man. That's what also we built him for is he's your trading partner, man. How many of you guys are part of, I'm sure many of you are part of another community or mentor or whatever, and you want to ask questions, but look at this institutional drop again. If this thing floors to 180, whatever, guys, I swear, man. But anyways, that's why I'm sticking around. I want to see this. Where did you make the trade? I haven't taken many trades since the open because we made all our money right out the gate. And so, but you guys that have been on this live for a bit, you guys back me up, man. For those that are just joining, did he not say 694 will be the greatest short setup of the entire session? It's I think like Nita, are you still in your put? Are you still in your put? He literally said it. He said this will be the greatest short setup of the whole session. And y'all, I mean, dude, it's yeah. Like I said, guys, I can't explain it. Y'all just got to see it. This is why I'm staying on live. This is why I'm doing my best to show you guys. But I'm gonna tell you, you're still in the put. Nice. I'm gonna tell you guys something that may resonate well, may not. Right? Is the trading industry has become so bad at preying on ignorance or people that are naive, right, to understanding trading. And so y'all are probably out there paying for, or maybe you've already paid for, just crazy courses and lessons to still not be profitable. Yeah, good job, Dustin. And uh, it sickens me, absolutely sickens me. I can't stand it. It doesn't need to be a you against me. I just, and as a company, I wanted to build a tool that can do everything. And I haven't even shown you guys what else that we can do. All of our training courses. So we offer training courses right here. They all have Neo in them. You can ask them questions. Let me show you guys while we're waiting for this thing to keep pulling. So when you go to the training courses, we don't do anything simple. When we built this company, myself and the other two co-founders, we decided early on that we will not be just another community. The amount of people that repaint the same turd and call it a Tootsie Roll drives me nuts. That's my saying. I don't know why. So this is how our courses are designed. It's not a basic video. It's a book. Look, he
ICT
reads it to
Strategy
you.
Course. Introduction.
So he's gonna read it to you. If y'all want to learn ICT, here it is. But here, not only does he read it to you, but watch this. You can ask him questions. Hey, some people are trying to learn ICT, and man, this is confusing. Can you break down ICT in a more beginner fashion, because it can get complicated? And I'm gonna send it to him, and this is still Neo. He's gonna teach you ICT.
ICT concepts essentially focus on identifying where large institutional players might be entering or
Good
exiting the
job,
market.
Rich.
Think of it like a detective searching for footprints, where we look for liquidity and order blocks instead of simple indicators. Liquidity is just the area where many traders have their stop losses placed, which smart money often hunts for to fill their own large orders.
So I'm gonna mute him, but you could talk to him. He's literally gonna teach you. I mean, how many trading courses have you gone through that you're like, man, I don't know that I quite fully grasp it. once you sign up, and our courses, guys, I apologize for anybody who spent a lot of money. You can learn ICT from here for $30 with our coupons. And we don't want to price gouge, man. I'm tired of seeing it. And it's been a difficult road, because I tell you, I've been on so many people's videos that are struggling, trying to explain to them there's a better way. And it's so hard to not make it sound like a sales pitch, because there's so much sales pitching. And, I've watched people, like I was just joking about earlier. Somebody told me yesterday, nobody cares about your stupid AI, get off my live. When after they were asking for help, and they said that it's better to go to YouTube. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not gonna force it. People are
Hey, Nick,
good.
can I share a quick story?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Yeah, this is
Something that blew,
real quick,
something that
Gerg. Hold
blew
on.
my mind.
Hey, Gerg, hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
See you guys on the screen. This is our Google Meet. This is Gerg. He's in the community. He's gonna talk. So, all right, go ahead. Just so they know.
All right. Yeah, I've mentioned this before as well, and it is, it takes people that try to start trading, people that originally get into this, to understand that there really is, the big institutions that are literally just trying to feed off of all the people that are just getting into trading, and cost of education, of losing money, and that's typically what it takes. And it takes sometimes years for people to finally. It took me years. I thought I had it figured out many times, and lost it, and thought I had it and lost it. And it took years for me to actually finally connect to the fact that there really is market makers, and they are literally using all of these little things, that all the easy strategies that everybody teaches about, the different pattern setups and stuff like that, and then they get faked out. And because obviously the things that Neo is actually finding out in the background gives us a better idea of seeing how it actually works, and how the market makers really are just trying to use us as just liquidity to fuel their moves. But it takes years, and Neo is literally, from the second you ask him a question, he's just telling you flat out, this is what it is.
Yep.
And again, it takes years. And there was a guy that I run into all the time, and I work at a restaurant, and he comes down, sits down with his laptop at the bar, and he is an experienced trader who's been trading for 20 plus years. He trades options. He does like iron condors and butterflies and stuff like that. And I went over and talked to him the other day. I talk to him all the time, but I told him about this cool AI thing. And I said, yeah, I said, it's, and I started kind of depicting the whole idea of how the market makers use the retail traders as liquidity to fuel their overall move with, because they're trying to put in massive orders that they can't just click a button or else the market would just move instantly and then they really wouldn't make any money. And he looked at me like I was crazy. And I was like, it's still like, I mean, he's successful. Don't get me wrong. He's successful at what he does. But it's crazy how like, people just don't understand how the market really works. And Neo just point blank, if you're a beginner, if you're a new person, he's just fast forwarding years of pain and suffering for you to get the knowledge. And it's beautiful.
Oh, it's amazing, man. No, I appreciate you sharing. And that's where, like I said, a lot of his deep logic when we put it in there is you are an institutional AI. I want you to think that way, see it that way, look for the anomalies. In a nutshell, he's told to kind of protect retail or whoever's using him against institutional manipulation. And oh, it's amazing. And so to your point, Garrick, it's funny how many people will tell you it's not a thing, but yet when he's out here, like, look at this all day. I wouldn't trust this move. They're gonna rug pull it on you because institutions are south, and they freaking did it. Like, you can't tell me it's not a thing when he's called it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And when you trade with the institutions, it's so much better, man. It's crazy. It's insane because there's an industry in trading where you're taught to think a certain way, to read a market a certain way, to act a certain way. And they know that. And these big dogs want you to think that. So that way you're the liquidity. They don't care about you. They just want your money, right? And I've already had guys, so many communities actually DM me. I've had both sides of the fence. One, I had a few that actually got on the phone with me and asked me, like, how did you build this? Because we're trying to do this too, and this shit is good. They actually asked me if we would lease it, and I was like, no, maybe someday we'll whitelist them, but no. And I've had a few that have messaged me, telling me I shouldn't be creating a one-stop shop. It's bad business. They've told me it's bad business to have an AI that will give you buy, sell signals, entries, education, institutional education, all this stuff. Yeah, we have affiliates. We have an affiliate program, guys. And again, I just tell them, I'm like, look, I'm not interested in playing games. So, so it's a 3-day free trial. It actually ends up 4 days because what we do is we do 3 days. When you're done with it, we just ask you for a quick survey. How was it? What are your thoughts? You take the survey and you get an extra day out of it. So, and again, guys, the trial is just to show you what he can do. That's the whole point of the trial. Like, we gave the trial because we want you guys to see how he operates, right? Is the whole point of the trial. But we do have an affiliate program. See on the bottom left here? You just click affiliate, and then our affiliate program, actually, I haven't talked about it much lately. I probably can touch on it. If you guys, our affiliate program is really easy. You do not have to have 1 million followers to be approved. I really don't care if you just have a church you go to that you could probably get 100 people or 10 people to sign up. You could probably still be an affiliate. We're not real picky on it. And so, in our affiliate program is MRR base. So if you get somebody to sign up and each month they pay, you get paid forever until they just don't pay anymore, and then you don't get paid. So, but yeah, just you could click on the affiliate part on there, and if you guys are interested, then we'll reach out and discuss it. But let's check with Neo. See, we had that deep drive that you were talking about, and we bounced right off 500. Do you think this is going to reverse, or do you think it's another leg up before another shift pull back down? Ooh. I'm trying to not miss questions, but I think I'm getting them all. But let's see what he says.
The bounce off the 29,500 area is just another tactical play to keep the bulls thinking they're in control while the institutions keep hammering on the sell side. We are staring down a major institutional resistance wall at 29,595.04. Unless it gets smashed
Let's move this up to 5.
Treat any move higher as a temporary relief rally before the next leg down. Keep your eyes on the volume. If it fails to surge, you're just looking at another trap.
And so as far as his data from the institutional part, so that's the only one I don't mind talking about because someone in the community, Johnny, had kind of brought it up to us, and when we looked into it, it was spot on. And so his institutional data flow, order flow, all that stuff that he's getting gamma walls, that's from Gexbot, their API. And so anybody can go do that, but it's not cheap. And the power is not really the data he's getting or where he's getting it from. It's the interpretation, because anybody who goes in and tries to interpret that, it's not as easy as you think. And so that's where the AI is powerful, because he can actually interpret all that. So, but let's ask him. We're starting to push through that. Do you think this might be a retest of that 644 before slamming it down, or you think this is a trap? What are institutions doing? Are they still selling?
The institutions are absolutely still offloading their position.